YouTube, it's Brian Phillips. We're gonna open this box right now. And I hope it's as good as I expect it to be. Otherwise, I'll be disappointed. So we've done a lot of planes over the years, and it's been an amazing experience. Some better than others, but this one we hope will be amazing. Oh yeah! They gave us these things. You know what that means?
I do.
That means that we have lots of decals to put on. Yay. All right, so maybe if you guys look at that, that looks pretty sweet. We've got the F-16C, I guess. I'm not really sure what the C stands for. 70 millimeter from FMS. We're gonna see how this thing comes out of the box. We're gonna go through the Unbox build and radio setup right now. If you guys are looking for the maiden flight, it publishes at the same time as the Unbox build radio setup, in case you were wondering. All right, so we're gonna plop this down here. All right, what do we have here? We have, delicious. We have a high quality Predator 80 amp ESC with a powerful 1900 kV in runner motor. And it's a 12 blade EDF. There's 5 sets of decals you can customize yourself, AKA we didn't want to pay our employees to do it. And the wingspan's 813, 32 inches, and it's about 1,258 long. Okay, nothing else. 6 9-gram servos, and it looks like the CG's 95 to 105 with, as we mentioned, oh, it does run on 3200 35C. So I think we have a 3200, like this is the 3200. But is that a 35C? It is a 35C. So these Arrows packs would work. And I think we've got kind of something funky about our smart pack right now. So we're waiting on that one right now. So we'll charge that. We have some 4000s here that we were thinking might work as well. So yeah, we knew it was inside the box, guys. So 4000, but these are also showing a little bit of wear and tear. So we're gonna try our best to improve our circumstances on those batteries in the very near future, AKA get new ones. So let's go ahead and charge these ones up. If you guys ever use a non-smart battery, what you can do is you just plug it in to the discharge lead and or balance lead, okay? And then you move up and you can charge at whatever rate you want. So it's just like the old times. Oh, was this 30? That's 3200. They say 3300 full disclosure on the package for the airplane. Okay, so I'm gonna set this other one up as soon as one of them finishes, and then we'll have a variety of different batteries that we can draw from and hopefully use. So as you guys know, I really like F-16s, but that also means, oh, I had that upside down the whole time. Wish you would have said something. So that's the way it looks upside down and right side up. And this has a different ordnance pack than what I've seen on other F-16s. Did you notice that? It's got less ordnance or different ordnance. I can't remember what the bigger ones. I felt like they had more on them. But it's honestly, to me, I want wingtips and I want them to look right. And it looks like they did make them look right. So I'm okay with it. It doesn't necessarily have to have 4,000 bombs on it because, to be honest, it makes them fly a lot worse.
You don't usually fly with them anyway.
I always take them off.
Yeah.
Except for the occasional plane that's more of like a beautiful model.
Yeah.
And a little bit less of just, you know, gonna go sit in the basement.
Right.
All right, here we go. So this does come equipped with a reflex V2, which means you can use probably a 6-channel receiver. Let's think about that. We got throttle, rudder, aileron, elevator, retracts.
Mode. No flaps.
No flaps. So I don't know. I mean, this is one of those planes where I would probably not want the reflex myself because the reflex is going to limit the way you can handle your wing type. And really, if there was something FMS could do, it would be to handle flaperons because there are other stabilizers on the market that will do flaperons. And flaperons are kind of like a bare minimum if you ask me. And really, it would not be that hard. I know like Lemon RX would do that too. So obviously the Spectrum stuff that we've been using is awesome for that sort of thing. Beautiful nose, look at that, removable. This will be the first thing to break off. It's kind of a rubbery thing that's sort of glued in with like canopy glue. I've lost it on, oh look, see it's squishy. Okay, so then we'll grab whatever this is, which is probably the vertical stabilizer. Yep, vertical stabilizer and rudder, okay? Looks really nice. I love military style planes in military style finish. So I love having the liveries that are gray, but that being said, they are a lot harder to see in the air, okay? So 9-gram digital Metal Gear Servo. And while we've got the tail out, let's look at the stickers, because I think the stickers are predominantly for the tail. Okay, so let's pop this open. Not a folded manual, but they did fold the decal sheets. That's makes sense because there's no way to not fold it because they're so big compared to the box if you show them the box. And you're gonna get decal sheets how you get decal sheets. You're not gonna have those cut in a different size. At least I wouldn't. Okay, pull all that out. Oh man, it doesn't even have the white lines applied. Are you kidding me?
Oh my.
Goodness gracious, really? Okay, and no decals applied to the missiles. All right, well, I guess that's the way it is. So maybe we're gonna have some naked missiles.
Questions.
I mean, they're gonna go blow up something anyway, so. Very nice manual though. It's not folded even a little bit. That's really cool. Okay, so we have the flying weight, all that stuff that we talked about here, 3300, 35C. It would be kind of cool, like 3300C, I've never had a 3300C, have I?
I don't think so.
Because I think our Spectrum ones are 3200.
Yep.
And I've had a lot of different Turnigies, and I don't know that we've ever had a 3300.
Our
It's always
ones are
been
32. Yeah.
I'm sure there's somebody that makes 3300, but I'm just not aware of it. All right, that looks weird. There's pink on them. These are water decals, I take it. That's why they give us transfer paper. Okay, so that means that's gonna be even harder to do, but we learned some things, okay, guys? On this plane, I had a lot of helpful feedback because I lost one of my 2 busty blondes from this side. And that's because of all these beautiful rivet details. By the way, this is the F7F, if you're not aware. Awesome plane, beautiful, huge, amazing. But the decal is a water transfer decal, and there's evidently a product, and now I'm gonna forget the name. Dang it, I should go look it up in the comments. But a lot of you guys had suggested using it. And what it does is it softens the decal so that it can mold and adhere to like little bumps and keep a tighter finish. So we may have to try to find some of that. Well, that's California, so.
Are those supposed to be pink? Or is that just the transfer?
I assume it's like the actual, it's the stuff that's gonna go away.
Weird.
That is very weird. I hope it's not a mistake. The Cobra looks kind of cool. Arkansas, Toledo. It's disappointing because we used to have a wing in Iowa, and so I had to make this the last time when I did the 80mm version of the F-16, which, by the way, one of my favorite F-16s that I've had from E-Flight, also made by FMS. We were able to do, and by the way, I think the decals are going to apply easier on these wings because look at the difference in finish here. We're talking about really small bumps. Whereas over here, we're talking about detailed rivets. So they are designed to protrude intentionally so you can see them along the profile of the plane. Show them this way.
I can see with the sun here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see up against the gray here.
Yep.
Show them this way. Right there. See? You can really see how nice those rivets pop out a lot. So compared to something like this, you're not necessarily going to have as big a problem, but you will still probably get an air pocket. So the only thing you can do is if you know you're gonna put a decal there, you can try to scrape it down a little bit, or you can sand it if you really want it perfect. I just don't get that specific about decals usually. And that being said, there's enough decals on this plane. I'm not 100% sure what my thoughts are yet, but everything feels nice and solid. Good inboard portion that's helping to adapt this to the plane. I'm just looking really close. It looks like this is, I can't tell if it's painted or if it's just gray plastic. No, it's painted. Because this, or they painted this and then this is the color. I don't know. Because that carbon fiber, I'm assuming that's carbon fiber. It could be fiberglass. It goes through here and that helps to make the wing rigid. I think they just painted them really nice, but it looks fully painted so far. And then high contrast top to bottom. In terms of gray, that's high contrast. But again, this is why it's hard to match colors with gray. Because is this like a green gray? Is this a blue gray? Is this a purple gray? Is this a something else gray? It's very, very hard to match. But also just take note, servo linkages are installed, which is nice. Okay, so that's definitely a positive. And only one missile and end missile rail adapter points. Speaking of missiles and nut sacks and bolt sacks. This one's really buried in here. There's the USB-C cable. We'll just put that over there where it belongs. And then there's some couple linkages for the elevators.
That's nice.
And it looks like, what the heck is this? Oh, it's the ventral fins. So the ventral fins here, of course, they go on the bottom of the plane. And I think I have them mixed up.
And those need to be glued, apparently.
Yeah, I don't know which way they're gonna go. I'm sure the instructions will tell us. But as you can see, we've got the same color on either side. So, moving along, it looks really clean. And like I said, I'm a huge fan of F-16. I'm a little bit bummed about the decals because that's gonna be a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I like it to be nice, but I kind of just want to open it and have it nice. Like, if this is the choice, you know, here, here, and here, that kind of makes sense. I can live with that. But then all the rest of the decals should be applied.
Yeah.
Okay, so pinch hinge on the elevator, but it looks like it's well done at least. I'd really like to see that reinforced. And also note that this is not a full functioning telebond, okay? Like it would be on an F-16. But to be honest with you, I'm just gonna tell you something. We've had better luck with this type of elevator. I know it's disgusting if you're an aficionado of scale, but truth is they work really good that way. And so I'm not gonna complain super bad on it. Missiles look nice. They look cleaner than the last one we did. And there's kind of a bump there now that I say that, literally as I was saying it. These are very nicely trimmed compared to what we've seen on a few recent models. What was the one we did and they were just like really slobbo? I can't remember which model it was. Oh, it's the F-18.
I was gonna say,
oh, but the F-18 is an older release. This is a newer release.
Yep.
So I think that's why we're seeing it cleaner. FMS and pretty much all the manufacturers have come up with some new techniques that are better, or maybe they're just like a little stricter with their employees that are doing the work. But I can definitely tell you this, they are way cleaner than what we saw the other day on the F-18. I could go show them.
It's a little more detailed.
In fact, I'm curious. This is definitely a different wingtip system, yeah. Because the F-18 has more details going on because of this top and bottom thing. Now this is an F-18 70 millimeter, also from FMS, didn't come with a reflex. And I'm glad it didn't because we did some complicated wing types. But I'm gonna tell you something. The wing type on that was overkill. We should have just done regular inboard flaps. It would have worked great. And to be honest, it caused a lot of complexity that just didn't need to happen.
Yeah.
And I think we would have still ended up with the same 8-channel receiver, but I don't know. It just didn't turn out as good as I was hoping it would. It's still a cool plane, and I'm really glad we got a chance to do it. But, oh, and that had some water transfer decals.
Yeah, that
remember, we spent like all day on it. Okay, which to be honest, like an all-day project might be exactly what you're after.
Right.
So again, here on Brian Phillips RC, one of the things we try to do is we try to showcase the pros and cons of models. And if I see something as a con and you see it as a pro, that's fine. We can still be friends. We just try to point it out the way we see it. Try not to make up your mind for you, but also help you understand what we do see as a positive and why we see it as a positive and what's negative and why we see it as a negative. Sometimes it's pretty self-explanatory. That does look really good. Got that foam all over it. A little sloppy around the canopy there. But the canopy looks really good. It's super clear. Look at that. So you can actually see pretty well through it. I wouldn't probably want to FPV through that. That's one thing, guys. If you're trying to FPV, I don't know what you guys do, but these canopies are usually not clear enough to really see through very well. Okay. Very cool. There's your 80 amp Predator ESC. And I do see, I can't tell if there's a third or fourth wire. Obviously good retracts. They're not as good as on the 80, but they're really good still. And that is an active inlet, okay, which is pretty sweet. Also have a cheater up here to help cool the battery. And then we have a huge cheater right in front, which is good. To be honest with you guys, you need air. And if you're gonna be sucking and blowing, you need air, okay? That's what EDFs do well. Also, let's talk about this. We got a nice reinforcement all the way along this leading edge. That's a very weak point on this model. If that weren't there, you would destroy this thing, okay? It would be gone like the first few times you pick it up, okay? So I'm very glad to see stuff like that. And it's also installed and then painted, okay? You can't really get that close of a match on color because look, this would be like a close color match here, okay? It's not that close, but that's hidden, by the way.
Right.
So absolutely no problems there. Also, you can see the nose gear sticks down just a hair. That doesn't really bother me, but just take note of it because if you were to ever belly land this, there's a good chance that thing would probably pay some toll for it, okay? So now that that is all unboxed, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a quick sec, clean up, and come right back. Okay, so off camera, we were trying to clean up. We were talking about some scheduling woes, and there it is, guys. Don't miss this. Don't throw this in the garbage. We almost missed it, okay? It's right here. Oh, and there's more missiles down there too. Goodness gracious, the Chinese are trying to sneak missiles in. See? What the heck? Oh, it's just a little chunk. But that's a sweet looking missile. You know what that missile looks like? That looks like from the Su-27s.
Oh.
So, very cool. I like the white fins, that's really neat. And then of course we've got the spar for the wing. Okay, got that. So now just FYI, don't miss that, guys. That would be super easy to miss. Okay, we're gonna finish picking up and come right back. All right, so it took a few minutes. You can see it's a little bit dark.
Just kidding.
We did other things. We ate lunch, we watched a TV show, cut some trees down, marked some trees. That is cotton that's stuffed in there to keep the decal into the seam.
Oh, that's what he was talking about.
But yeah, so basically, don't worry, I didn't stab my Cobra. But as you can see, it's got this pink stuff on it, and that pink stuff is that material that's supposed to pull off of there in 24 hours or something like that.
We hope.
We hope. But I just want to show you why I'm concerned. So this was our first decal. Okay, so just to give you an idea. It's not been 24 hours, clearly. See, that's pulling everything off. So it makes me nervous to even think about it right now, but it also makes me nervous to think about it tomorrow because if it's peeling it off that easy now, I just wonder if you can go into the middle like this and peel it up somehow. You know, just like sacrificially poke a little hole. Because I hate to break it, but it looks to me like that stuff might want to peel off the decal still. Wow. And granted, it's not been 24 hours, so I'm not going to tempt fate, I guess.
Right, I guess.
Anyway, the reason we're telling you that is because as you make your own considerations with your own model, then you will understand. You might want to be careful. These are the only decals. These are the stickers that were the blue lines that were on the same sheet as these white lines, okay? They did not have a place because at one point, these are the missiles that are shown in the front box, the front of the box here. You'll note that ours are white, theirs are gray. These would have gone on there, okay? So that's what we figured out through the process of elimination. So we're just gonna keep those over here in case you wanna dress up another missile sometime because
We do that a lot.
Just in case. Yeah, we do it all the time.
He's my favorite. Just in case.
Just in case. All right, so now we need to build this thing. So it should be a relatively easy build now that we have that done.
Right. Sure.
You cringing.
Nothing else
could possibly happen.
No.
So what I want to do is I want to take and probably start with the rudder. That's what we're going to start with.
Okay.
Why the rudder, camera crew?
Because the directions tell you to start with something else.
I have no idea what the directions say. Are you kidding me? That is such a stupid thing to say. I would never know what the directions say. Okay, the brown is toward my belly. The brown is away from my belly. I want to flip this. Well, actually, I want to flip this because you see how it's flat?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to stick this in here.
No, we're starting with the rudder because then you're working
Yeah, I know.
up close to you and
my back is bothering me already from cutting down trees.
trees. Sure.
Hold this, please. Troublemaker. Also, we had to charge our camera because it was dead. Gosh, that is not wanting to go in. That is so annoying. It's always the weird ones that do this too. It's never the ones that you can get to super easy. That does not feel snapped in because it's not. Just hold still.
Okay.
You're not holding it very well. Let go. You see how there's like a decal there? I want you to hold here where it's not going to get screwed up.
Let me switch hands.
There you go.
Okay, there, that's better.
All right, so now I'm going to take this and I'm going to go lengthwise and try to snap that in there. Goodness
There we go.
gracious. No, it's not in there.
Really?
No, it's... Oh, man, that hurt my fingers, and yes, it went. Okay.
Okay.
So in case you guys were wondering, this one's for the rudder right here. The rudder right
Okay.
there, okay?
Good. Glad we got that out of the way. You get some glue while you're down there?
China. FMS China glue. It's one of my favorite China glues. There's other China glues, but nobody does it quite like FMS.
Okay.
Well, except for everybody that makes it. We do like the China glue. It's good. Okay. Ooh, whoa, whoa, whoa. Jeez, don't get it all over your own hands.
No kidding.
Man, just getting excited there. Okay, so you may have noticed that it kind of squirted out at me. Hate it when that happens. Ugh. Junky. Whoa, whoa. Okay, and then just a little bit more down here. This one's pretty much spent, folks. I think that's all she wrote. I mean, I could probably save a little bit.
I'm sure you could.
I've got sticky stuff all over my hands. Son of a biscuit lover. That's okay. I'm going to spread this all around here. And truthfully, I do want to use this up because once it's done, then I've got like other tubes of it.
Right.
No, I really do. That thing is not compressible.
No.
Okay. That's everything. Now, I'm sorry. I know you got to keep like holding that and feeling like a weirdo because you have no hands free.
Yeah. It's a little awkward.
It's all right. Just, you'll survive maybe. I'm not sure yet, but we'll find out. Okay, so I'm going to go along the sides. I'm going to spread it along the surface on the bottom a lot. Pretty heavy. I want to make sure that I spread it all the way along all the surfaces that I can get to, but not this. Why not that, camera crew?
Because we don't want it to poop out the top.
Yep, that's right. And it probably still will anyway.
Right, but it's
let's go now.
definitely going to if you put it on there.
Yeah, I mean, ooh, thanks a lot for stopping that from falling there, camera crew.
Sure. Hear me get with my nail?
Yeah, please. So if anybody has ever been married that one time and they know what it's like to work with their wonderful spouse that's otherwise perfect, except for the time they drop the thing in the hole of stickiness.
What am I supposed to do?
You're supposed to catch it. Goodness gracious.
I'm filming.
You have a hand on a camera and a hand in your pocket.
Yes. It's cold in here.
I used to get yelled at that as a kid for my entire childhood. Why do you have your hands in your pockets?
Good thing I'm
Take
not-
your hands out of your pockets.
Good thing I'm not a kid.
Okay. China glue. This is
China was a gift
Yes.
from China?
FMS.
So you labeled it as such?
Yes. It was a gift. It was like, oh, we love you, Brian. You do such
Why are
a
you
good
putting
job.
more glue?
Because I can, and this is a
Goodness.
gift. Listen, it's like this is the way all gift cards are used. You know, you're going in deep. Walmart is already getting $600 of your money for groceries, and you're gonna spend we don't spend $600 on groceries. I mean, I look like it, but no, I didn't, except for the once. That's why Megan does not bring me grocery shopping.
Yes.
Because
We would spend $600 on groceries.
Where's the candy aisle? We need some more Doritos. Yeah, it's that's why the women go to the grocery shopping, because they can like use a list and stuff.
And we don't.
What are you doing in here, Fly?
Maybe you'll get stuck in the glue.
That would be awesome. Wouldn't I feel good? And then it'd be like, oh, hey, you can go for a ride. You ready? Free rides, Fly. Ooh, that's getting kind of sticky and tacky already.
Oh, you better stick it in there.
Wow. Okay, well, that's a little bit more aggressively sticky than I had hoped. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to just ram it right in hard.
Better go.
Seriously, like, not wanting to go very much. So I'm trying to do this without screwing it up. Whoo, that's really, really hard to get in there, guys. I'm like bending the model in half. Okay. Yeah. Okay, if it ever does that to you guys, I'm just gonna warn you, here's the tip of the day. When you've got older China glue that's been in China for a few years, then they shipped it on the big boat and it showed up in your doorstep and it's been in your basement for a few years and then it's been used for a while. Ooh, we're getting penetration finally. Oh my goodness, that is really scary to press on. Oh, it's so hard to do without breaking it. And yet we did it. Come out to the end here so they can see. You do need to verify that you're somewhat square here, folks. If you haven't already done that, make sure you're square, because if you're not square, then that could be a problem. I don't think it's square yet. It's pretty close. I mean, this is a strong part, but on the leading edge, like if you were filming from here, the leading edge will compress. Okay, so just keep in mind, use as much surface area as you can if you have to press hard like I was.
And be careful of the decals.
Huh?
I'd be careful of the decals.
Yes, please do. All right, well, it's not perfect, but it's better than it could be. You know, could have been a dynam.
True.
All right, so that's in there. It looks reasonably close. Now, if you're really in question, if you guys are not privy to this detail because you haven't built a lot of models before, you can take a measuring tape. I did not buy this measuring tape, everybody. So do you know the story about this measuring tape?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do.
So we hired somebody to come out and measure for our windows.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
And then we got like a super high quote, like $7,000 for this room. And so we did not do that, strangely enough. And then he left his DeWalt 16-foot tape. So if that's you, come pick it up.
We texted them.
We tried to reach out to them. They never took it.
They never did.
So I'm like, whatever. Okay, so I'm gonna measure from a known point, so where it's easy to measure from, 13 inches to, and it doesn't even matter what the number is. I'm just gonna say right there, okay? So now I'm just gonna like literally go around the other side. So from 13 inches to, yeah. Looks the same to me. And if you have two reference points on a triangle like that, you pretty much should be good. I mean, you could make it harder and measure another point, but you know, I don't want to work that hard, so I'm not going to do that. This plane honestly does look really good. I'm liking the way it's coming together. It was a pain in the butt. Oh, and I also had to modify. This was supposed to be here, and it's like, no, you can't. The servo's in the way of the AL. It wouldn't fit. And then they wanted you to put the AL on top of the tongue. And I'm like, but there's a cover on top of this. Yeah, you have to wait for it to dry. Forget that.
Yeah.
So I just moved things around a little bit.
Yeah, it looks nice though.
Yeah, I think it looks good. Okay, so let's flip it over. Let's get to work on the bottom. Are we gonna do ventral fins next, do you think?
Well, they need to be glued.
Well, they need to be glued before the horizontal stabilizers.
Okay. There's directions in the manual that you didn't read that say that they're supposed to point outward and the high side is supposed to go.
You mean like that?
Yeah.
So like if you stick them in the hole and there's like a loud squeal.
It's a good thing somebody read the directions.
Yeah, I mean, thank God. Otherwise, we'd be in big trouble. We might have stuck it in the wrong hole. I have seen an F-16 that one time.
I have too.
We were talking about F-16s in our basement with our son earlier. And he was like, I think we have another one like that. And I was like, yeah, we do. And then we were trying to figure out in our heads, like, how many we have.
How many F-16s we have?
Yeah, I think we have 2 80s, and then 2 70s, and then a 50. Oh, and then we have the micro one from E-Sheen. That thing was not very good, though.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it was nothing like the echelon of
these.
these.
Count those, yeah.
No, they're just like, they're more like toy grade. Now, don't glue this spot here, because that's your... You don't want, this is how you get into your EDF module, okay? It'd be nice to glue this, but it's gonna be really hard to keep it from pooping up, okay? So this is fresh glue, so you may not wanna slide this in quick. I'm gonna see if it goes. Seems good enough to me.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, ventral fins are the first thing to break during a crash. And yes, you will drag these on the ground when you rotate, so might as well get used to it.
I had to watch the old Hobby King F-14 video the other day.
Oh, good Lord.
Where the ventral fins were like mostly made out of hot glue.
Did you know that I crashed that Hobby King F-14 for firefighters?
Are you asking the people or me?
I'm asking you.
I don't think I was there.
Yes, you were.
No, I was.
The kids were there.
With the kids.
Because then the firefighters gave the kids a like a tour.
And stuff, yeah.
They gave them a tour. I was like, the fire engine shows up, and I'm like, oh God, we're in trouble now. And this was a few years back, obviously.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, you're not in trouble. We're just bored. And I was like, don't you have like fires to put out? And they're like, no,
it was a false alarm.
There's no fires. And so they were like, we were just like literally driving around and we had nothing better to do. So we saw you flying and we're like, please fly for us. So I was like, that's the coolest thing that's happened all day. And we've had cops do that too multiple times.
I forgot it was the F-14 though.
Yeah, it was the F-14. And I ran it out of batteries and then I crashed it. But I think I fixed it after that. It wasn't a bad crash. But yeah, so anyway, then the kids got a tour of the fire engine, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that was neat. Thanks, first responders, for responding to my RC emergency. All right, so let's look at this for a minute. This is maybe not so perfect. You see that wire? Yeah, I'm not a big fan of that, but I guess that's the way it goes. No, it still fits down there, so we should be fine.
Okay.
That's pretty dang easy assembly. Okay, so take your China glue. And by the way, that's what China glue looks like when it poops out, okay? So you see that?
That's
right there?
dried though.
I understand it's dried. I'm gonna spin this and get a point started because I gotta put glue there anyway. But what happens is once there's two dry components, now this is like a contact cement though, so keep in mind when and if you're deciding how you want to do this. I'm gonna put kind of a lot of glue on there. They talk about using CA for this. I would never use CA for this. You can use CA if you want. I have CA, we have fresh CA. We actually bought some new CA. And that's all fine and dandy, but I'm just gonna tell you this. My experience with CA is use it when you need to, use it sparingly, it gets brittle, it works easy, okay? CA with kicker, are you gonna film what I'm doing? CA with kicker is handy and it works well somewhat, but China glue is almost always better for what I want. And that is putting together wings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Now, if you're putting on like, you know, like a leading edge slat or some sort of a, you know, some sort of a superficial member like that, then, you know, CA is fine. But, or if you're gluing on like a control horn or something like that, I'd still go for China glue. China.
Man, I can tell it's a fresh tube of glue.
Can you smell it?
I can.
I still can't smell anything.
I know you can't.
So you guys may not know this, but I had a brain injury. I know it probably seems like it most of the time. But I had a brain injury earlier this year because I crashed my bike on my own driveway like an idiot. And I was just riding up and down with my daughter. It was not like I was doing anything crazy. And I wasn't going 50 miles an hour or anything like that, even though I could have been. So it was probably a good thing. So, and I crashed and hit the back of my head and ended up with a brain injury. And that's how I got to be in this way.
But But you lost your sense of
I
smell.
lost my sense of smell for 3 months now. So we'll see if I ever give it back. Get it back. And honestly, I don't know if I will. And if you've
It
ever,
might take a while.
if you've ever been with me for more than one car ride, this is kind of a safety feature.
It is. We're a little nervous.
Well, to be honest with you, it was kind of weird the first day I noticed it. So like spraying some cologne, I'm like, what is it? I'm like, why doesn't this smell? Megan, did you give me some like cheap fake Chinese cologne? And she's like, no, it's like normal stuff.
I'm like, no, I can smell you over here.
It's like, oh, just 10 more sprays. Knocking people out across the auditorium. I was like, whatever, I can't smell it. Okay, so there's that. And yeah, so basically lost my sense of smell and haven't died yet, but you know, it was still weird, very weird. We had to pay for a CT scan and they were like, yeah, there's not much there to scan, so we'll give you a discount.
Yeah, I wish.
They did not give us a discount. But interestingly enough, we do have insurance and no, you don't need to send a check. Sorry, that was kind of a cheap shot.
That's okay. It's like
I'm 100% certain they're not going to see this
15
video.
minutes in. I think you're right.
It's okay. If you know what I'm talking about, put it in the comments below. But all joking aside, yeah. It sucks to have to pay medical bills.
Yep, no matter
I don't
what.
care who you are.
Yep.
I don't
what
care.
the situation is.
It doesn't matter.
It sucks.
It sucks. Medical bills are the bane of everybody's existence. Oh, and then I got a call from the chick, man, at the medical insurance company. They were trying to get out of paying it because they were like, was this a work-related injury? And I'm like, do you think I'm stupid enough to answer your questions? I'm not a lawyer. And she was like, I don't think you understand how this works. And I'm like, I don't care. I don't have to understand how it works. You do. So anyway, they were trying to get me to excuse them from paying the bill. And so after some select words were exchanged, she hung up.
And they paid the bill.
Interestingly enough, I did not assuage them of their responsibility, strangely enough. And I said, listen, ma'am, I can't remember the 5 hours of this that happened.
Which is true.
And I said,
he
if you'd
doesn't
like,
know.
you can talk to somebody who does, but I was not there.
Nope.
Yeah, which was weird too, because, you know, those were 5 hours of my life I'm never going to get back. They were probably not very worthy of memory, other than the hilarious things I said as I was getting checked into the hospital.
Yep.
And they said no, by the way, to my questions. Anybody who's heard the story in not a public setting, you can laugh now.
Yes. Hey, you have a stringy over here if
Listen,
you
look
wanna
what
get
I'm
it.
doing. Show them the people.
I know.
You're blocking the light. You got to go out of the
I'm
light.
not blocking the light.
Yes, you are.
Now I am. Now you're blocking me.
See, once this is tacked up, you can take that little bit of glue, that residual glue, the China glue, and it'll come right out of there. Okay, amazing. Wow, look at that. We have all these things now attached to the aircraft. Now, I would normally say this would be a great time to put on your control arms so that you can control linkages. This one needs to be worked more. That's weird. This one's like really loose. This one's not very loose. So I'm gonna work it a few more times. So because we China glued it, we just need to be aware. We're gonna probably have to double check that everything gets in there properly, okay? Because what'll happen is with China glue, if you have a mating surface, right? And you glue it, it'll stay, but then sometimes as it relaxes, it'll slip out. But then you can press it and it'll stay. And then if it relaxes again, you press it again and it's pretty much done, okay? Sometimes it's 2 or 3 times. It just depends on if it is dry to the tacky touch when you first put it together, or if it's wet and you have to slide it into a socket and then it wants to poop back out. That's what happens with these type of connections. That's probably why they suggest CA, but I don't care. I'm gonna still use China glue. Ooh,
Watch your fins.
the
There you
ventral
go.
fins are in the way now. What a pain. All right, that looks totally sweet. I love the pink stickers. It's like the Barbie edition of F-16. F-16 Barbie edition.
If
What?
only we had any of those around. We could like
Yeah, right, we don't.
do that again.
We're gonna stick it right in.
I know, you tried
again.
to do that the other day. You tried to do it earlier.
I grinded the edge on
Without
the bottom
warning.
of the counter
Oh,
off camera.
it's a good
Where I
thing
wouldn't
to
get caught.
do off camera.
I basically took and sharpened this like a pencil on the bottom of our granite. That's a granite countertop, guys. And so on the bottom, it's unfinished. It's unhoned. Okay, brown is forward in this case. So I'm gonna turn that until it's forward. I'm gonna slide this into the doohickey. Goodness gracious, good lordy. It's just like, oh, there it goes, finally.
Okay.
That was weird. Why are they so hard to plug in today? I don't get it. I don't get it. That's so weird.
Getting old.
Yes, I am. Like Marv Albert? Yes, yes I am. I don't even know. I didn't ever watch that crap.
No.
Do you know who that is? Sportscaster.
Yeah, I know who he is.
But I didn't know anything about
Watch him.
I didn't watch him.
No.
But the
Sports?
people that watch our show.
What are those?
They will. They'll be like, I know Marv Alberts. We're the best buddies. All right, so we have to put some screws in now, folks. If you don't know anything about these screws, get ready to live.
I'm gonna guess they're gonna be 2mm hex drive screws.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Sounds
All right, so 2mm is the guess of the day. 2mm. Look at that. That is disgusting.
what do
that
I
you know
win?
this. Nothing.
Great.
Stick it in the hole. Turn it. You know, it seems like that would be a big deal.
What?
Stick it in the hole, turn it. But you know what, guys? If you haven't built a lot of planes, you don't understand how big of a deal that really is. Watch this. Stick it in the hole, turn it. If they all went that easy, we would not have a channel. Because that, among other things, are the types of weird nuances of building. That and putting the other wing on.
Yeah, 2 wings is usually good.
2 wings is generally accepted as better. The FAA demands it. They actually don't. I don't think they do. You can fly with one wing. You're only allowed 1 seat per wing.
1 seat per wing.
Okay, brown is back this time on here. And just remember, you've got brown, red for power. Brown is ground. And then orange or yellow, depending on which color style you get, is going to be your signal. And if it's Futaba, then it would be this is like the JR Hextronics color code. And then the red, white, and blue would be, of course, Futaba.
Red, white, and black.
Red, white, and black. Thank you. Not red, white, and blue. Not Merca. Oh yeah, that's so sweet looking. By the way, I gotta say something real quick about 70mm F-16s. No, it's not an 80. It's never gonna be an 80, and believe me, bigger EDFs make a big difference, okay? Not only are they a lot more expensive to battery up, but once you get into 6S, you start getting some pretty good performance, okay? Anything below that, you're basically dealing with slower flying planes or really small planes, okay? I gotta say, my experience with 6S has been quite good. Once you get above 6S, you start getting into the pretty serious performance planes, okay? 6S is where you start into the performance, and 6S and above is where you really get into the performance, okay? I am excited for the opportunity to do more than 6S at some point, okay? Very good. All right, guys, that build, I told you that build would not be that bad.
I was just gonna say, if that thing had decals on it, that's like a 15-minute build.
Oh, I know. And seriously, guys, I just want to talk about that for a minute. You may be seeing this out of order, and I'm making this executive decision, because that was ridiculous.
Wait.
Are we gonna show this out of order? Because we could just show that and then put the, could we?
Put all of our decal discussion. Yeah.
Because I mean, the decals took forever.
And that build was ridiculously easy.
That was actually super easy. If it weren't, and I have to go back and peel all this pink Barbie crap off of there.
Right.
I think we should leave it on there and just be like, we didn't understand FMS.
Well, if you see it with pink Barbie stickers on it, then you'll know that we couldn't
get it off. Well, and truth is, I think the decals look good. I'm really glad we did them.
Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure I'm sold on the white bar on the top, but I think it's gonna help with visibility.
I think so too.
And so for that reason, I'm really happy. Also, I want to see what these look like.
I mean, it's the same as always. We whine about decals and then they get done and we're like, oh, but now.
Yeah, but see, you got to remember, guys, if you're listening to us whine about decals, you have to remember we have 400 some odd planes in our basement.
Well, and you also
Not
have
everybody
to,
has 400 planes in their basement. So in the context of what we do and why we do it, which is to help teach other people about these planes, like I know this is going to be a good plane.
Right.
I don't need to actually put this together to know it. We've already flown enough of these 70 millimeter F-16s to know that it's going to be a good quality plane because they make the one that E-flite makes.
Right.
Okay? But if this one's new and exciting and it's something special, we want to be able to share that. And in the context of the fact that we've had, you know, 7 other F-16s.
And in the context of like, we get up on Saturday morning and think, okay, what are all the things that we need to get done today?
Because we're digging a pond.
And then when we open a box and decal sheets fall out, we're like,
oh,
shoot, that's not what the plan was.
Yeah, exactly. We're like, thank heavens for an extra 2 hours of work that we didn't have time for. But it again, in the context of our reality, it's a little bit different than maybe the average customer, let's say. I do love the way that plane
really
looks.
cool.
F-16s are one of my favorites. And it's funny because coming back from full circle, you know, from when I first started in this hobby, I'd have been like, oh, F-16s, amazing, really cool. But then you start getting into it and you're like, oh, but F-18s, oh, but F-15s, oh, but F-4U, oh, but A-10s. And there's just so many amazing choices right now. And it used to be that it was like, well, this one's good, but like most of them are really not. Now it's like most of them are good, but like these are actually kind of terrible. And so that's one of the reasons why we even exist, because you guys understand that if you've bought planes before.
Yeah.
And also, every plane kind of has its caveat. You know, there's always a caveat. By the way, I got to say, this canopy, on and off, crispy, delicious operation. Not even thought about it.
That's good.
Not even that one is that good. This thing is just like perfect operation, which is a stupid detail, but it's true. All right, so really, for practical reality, we have this plane built. Now it's just a matter of what's next. We have to do a number of things. We have to figure out our radio system.
Yep.
And radio system, of course, is gonna consist of picking a radio system, mounting the radio, and then setting up the radio. Okay, so that's what we do at this point. Then we have to mark the center of gravity once we've decided on batteries, which we have 5 of them ready to rock and roll. And hopefully we can get away with using a 4,000 milliamp hour instead of a 32, because I just feel like the 4,000 is going to be a better fit for this application. Now, I don't think 5,000 is going to fit. It's just too big. You could probably get it in there, but you're not going to be able to get the CG right, is my guess. Also, we can actually mark the CG right now, couldn't we?
We could. Yeah.
Is there any reason why we wouldn't while it's on the plane stand?
Because then we always forget and have to come back to it at the end anyway.
Yeah, okay, so 95 to 105. Now, we can't test it yet.
Right.
But we could definitely mark it. So marking the CG is a very basic task that you can do or you can omit. It just depends on how you like flying. In my opinion, always mark it. Okay, so we're going from the leading edge of the wing, 95 to 105, so 10 millimeter range, that's kind of crazy. Okay, so start from 0, 95 to 105. Why is it in inches? What is it, I think we're in Merca? 95. So there's our 95 and 95. And then to 105. Okay, coming back just a little bit. There we go. Okay, and you can see I just kind of pierced the foam just a little bit. So about a 10 millimeter space there. Then I take the tip of my felt marker, which in this case is a Sharpie. Just like a normal Sharpie, not an ultra fine or anything like that. And we just make those little impressions. And it's literally as easy as that. But what we do is after we're done figuring out which battery we want to use, then I'll mark the inside of the canopy to get to the center of gravity that would be in the middle. Okay, now then you play forward and you play back with your battery to make up center of gravity adjustments. All right, so the next move is radio system. Okay, so we have throttle, elevator, rudder, ailerons together, gear, retracts, mode, AR620.
Yep.
So 620 is cheap. So if you guys haven't already seen, there's a million ways to skin this cat. I'm gonna show you the two that I would recommend. And 620, right, hon?
Yep.
Okay, so here's what I would recommend. I would recommend a 620, but if you want to tear out the, if you want to tear out the reflex, I would recommend no less than the 631. But remember, if you've got the 631, meaning you've got the ability to do AS3X and safe and set your wing type, then that becomes very tempting to go up to an 8360T, which is going to give you the ability to split out your wing type. Okay, so this is what we're going to use because we have the reflex. And this is what I would recommend. Now, this is only a little bit more expensive than the 637T. This is also going to give you more telemetry, but the 631 would be the minimum I would do on this. I would probably use the 630 because the range with the internal antenna, this is the fast plane, it's gonna get away from you quick. I would definitely go with the antennas. But then this one, what?
You could do flaperons with a 637T though. Because then you have AS.
Listen, you're right. And what Megan's saying is right. You can do throttle, elevator, rudder, which is also your steerable nose gear, aileron 1, aileron 2 for flaps, for flaperons, and then you could do gear. Then you can do flight mode and master gain on channels unpluggable 7 and 8. But if you're going to do that, if you jump up to the, and by the way, if I'm doing a 631, I'm fine with that. But if I'm doing 637 for like 15 bucks more, you get 2 extra channels, which means then if you're using an X10, then you can ride those 2 additional channels. That means that frees up a whole nother channel here.
Right.
So then you can do telebonds.
Yep.
And you can separate your rudder from your nose gear. And the way you do that is you make a split vertical tail, meaning you do a twin tail, then you get AS3X on here and you get AS3X on here. Okay? We are not doing that.
Right. No.
Many people are going to tell you you need flaperons on this plane. I am one of them. We're going to just prove to you that I'm wrong by not doing it. Now on a real F-16, there would be a leading edge flap, and then there would be, or leading edge slat if you prefer, and then there would be, of course, flaperons. There'd also be a full functioning telebond, which means that they would both work, but this is not a real F-16, okay?
Thanks for clearing that up.
I just want to make sure you guys knew that. In case it
Wasn't already
say,
clear.
I'm kind of big to fit in there. All right, so that being said, the 620 is considerably cheaper, and if you don't go for the 620, of course, you could go for something like a Lemon RX 6-channel, and you could do a 7-channel with stabilization all the way up to a 10-channel with stabilization, which are really good options, but we're going to be doing the NX10. We're going to show you exactly how to set this up. It should be a relatively easy setup on this model because really at the end of the day, it's a basic setup, okay? So how do we start? Well, it looks like we've repacked this for some reason. I mean, we must have started with a 620 and then
Changed
went
your
into
mind.
yeah. We probably had a reflex involved on one.
Oh, and didn't realize
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
And then we started with that, or we changed our mind. I hate that stupid staple. Oh, it's so annoying.
And we have to save the packaging because you never know when you might need some
Listen.
good clear plastic.
Listen,
So, God forbid there was a
we
staple in it.
have used that clear plastic like at least 3 or 4 times.
Yeah,
And we only have maybe 100 of them down there.
we're really running low. I'm feeling the pinch.
Okay, so we've got the 620, okay? As you can see, feast your eyes. Now, by the way, if you want more telemetry, but you don't want to go up to AS3X, you can get a 6610.
Yeah.
I think it's a 6610, and I'm
think
sorry
that's
if
what
I'm
it's-
saying that wrong. But either way, when you follow our links for the receivers, then the 6610 gives you basically all the T stuff, but none of the AS3X and safe. So it becomes quite a bit cheaper, and you got the external antenna, which would be a diversity antenna in this case. Okay, so it looks just like a 637. It just doesn't have AS3X and safe.
It's a super uncommon.
Now this
one.
is not spatially aware, so it's not gonna be critical to mount this. And so I'll probably like literally stuff it back in there when we're done, okay? So I'm gonna make it super easy to plug this in. Oh, and I just realized we have to do our shelf liner trick. Shelf liner for everybody. Guys, if you don't know what shelf liner is what's used to line shelves.
Or drawers,
Drawers.
unless you stole all of your wife's and put it in your airplanes.
I mean,
Then all your crap just slides around in your drawers.
I am not gonna admit that I stole anything, but you might have.
I don't really like shelf liner, actually.
I love it. Okay, pull out the Velcro. Now you could put this on your battery like a normal person, or you could do it the hard way like I do. Why do I use shelf liner? Shelf liner works. I've never had a problem with it. As a result, I go with it all the time. I have had problems with Velcro on my batteries before. What is with you, fly? Of all the places you could
Do you want me to
land.
shoot you?
Yes, hurry.
I don't even know where it is.
It's in the thing. Well, you'll have to, you can pause. Okay. Ow! That kind of hurt.
I missed.
Did you freaking really?
I did.
Show them my wound.
I missed.
That hurt.
You're already salty. Here, we'll leave this out.
Wowzers. All I'm gonna say is that's what happens when you're married. Wife
not cocked
shoots you
when you
and then
need it.
laughs at you while she misses the fly is on me again.
Here.
This fly is like on a suicide mission. Did you cock it?
No, I only have
Do you
one
want me to
hand.
show how it works?
I can only.
Okay, guys,
need two
we
hands.
normally don't advertise for anything on this channel, but we're gonna do it this way. The bug assault, amazing. No, they didn't send this for free. We bought it, and it's awesome. But then I broke something. Oh, I broke
Now
the
it's
tab.
taped.
Now it's taped. Stupid fly.
If you leave it out, he'll.
That
leave it
actually
somewhere.
hurt. Why did you do that so close? Goodness gracious, lady.
You're welcome. That's to go in the title of the video.
That did
I've
hurt.
been shot.
It hurt. Ow.
Such sensitive skin.
I guess. Sensitive mind. Okay, we'll just tape this back down. Brian.
Wait,
Brian's down.
So Brian put that on there, and then you stuck it in there. See, they didn't. They missed it. I went to get the gun.
What? I stuck this on? What, you
Yeah.
didn't film it?
No, I went to get the gun.
The shelf liner? What? I just stuck it on there. I mean, it took me like 4
I
seconds.
think they figured it out.
So, all right, guys, that's gonna help stop the battery from slipping. Now, we have to make a profile for this plane. It's gonna be easy. Just bear with me, all right? So, hit cancel and back. Scroll to the bottom of your millions of planes. Sorry, that Fox 2.3 is way at the end. Okay, add new model. It's an acro, create. Now it's gonna take like 5 minutes because I have so many planes. If you have like 7, this will take like 3 seconds, okay? So, and I'm not exaggerating, that's literally how long it takes because of the number of models in here. By the way, NX10, been very good. I've never actually used the sliders, which are another analog circuit. Oh, here it is, okay. Model select, model type. That's already set. If you change it, it'll reset everything. Then model name. This is where I type FMS, F-16, whatever, and we'll be right back. Here it is, guys. Watch this.
Scissors.
Oh, safety's on. Boom!
Did you get it?
Yes. Destruction of fly. Yeah, and then he'll be like somewhere over there.
On the countertop?
No,
Great.
he's right there.
Oh, I
Look,
see him.
Look,
Yeah.
you see him? Is he dead? He's dead.
Yeah, that's just his guts.
Boom! Okay, so I just wanted to warn you about something. Flies were harmed in the making of this video.
And we don't care.
And by the way, if you don't like that I just shot a fly live on camera for YouTube, this isn't live,
Not live, but
then you can just do yourself a favor and never come back because I'll just block you anyway. Awesome. Don't shoot in your eyes. That actually did kind of hurt.
I'm sorry.
All joking aside, maybe not so close next time. So, and then I'm wounded over here. I've got like a, oh, that's so gross.
Gross, don't show them that.
I didn't mean to show them that. It just happened. Like,
Brian's
I got
allergic.
into something yesterday. I didn't even know what it was.
Brian's allergic to the outside.
I'm allergic to things, I guess.
Yes, like everything.
But the thing is, we're always like cutting trees down and like going in the ditch. I was working in the ditch, moving rocks because I got my stupid lawnmower stuck the other night. And if you've never had wild parsnip, I think that's what it is. I must have got wild parsnip on me because it's a photoreactive chemical agent when you cut it and it splatters on you and you don't even know you got it on you.
Yeah.
I got it on like my face or something and maybe like around my neck or something.
Like
and it just
blisters up.
It's just so weird. Like it doesn't even really hurt. Sorry about that, guys.
We have to finish typing the name of the plane.
Oh yeah, we were typing the name. We usually pause while we're typing, but then I was like, fly. Okay.
So are we gonna finish this or are you done?
Is it the F-16 Falcon? Is that what this is?
It is a fighting Falcon. We don't have room for that. Here, we'll debate. We can tell the people.
All right, so we've got the FMS F-16 Falcon 70 millimeters. Okay, back. Lots of obnoxious speaking, aircraft type, normal, and normal. Now, if you were doing AS3X and safe, I would go for flaperons, and then I would do it like, if you were using the bigger receiver, I would do that, actually. Okay, then you would have televons, Tailoron plus 2 rudders. There you go. That's what I would do. Because then AS3X would act on all of it. That'd be super cool, actually. But I don't think it's really going to impact the flight that much. It's just disappointing because there's no thrust reverse. But we've already talked about that a little bit, being a bit of a problem. Can't believe they don't have an F-16 or F-18 in here. It's just the Habu. Okay, I don't think I'm going to do a flight mode, am I? The only reason I would maybe do a flight mode is for the audio vent, but let's not, and I'll show the people how to do another audio vent.
Okay.
Let's talk about switches for a second before we exit. We're gonna have, flaps would be here, but they're not. This would be
Nothing.
Might be like vario on, vario off, or some special function.
Yeah.
Then retracts, yes. This would normally be where I'd do my mode. And I don't generally come out of AS3X, or in this case, it'd be just like the reflex working, stabilizer off, and then stabilizer plus auto leveling at the bottom. But since I'm not using flaps, I could assign it here. Problem is every time I take off, I turn on auto leveling on accident because I'm in such a habit of turning the flap mode after a takeoff. So I'm gonna actually not do that. And then you can do spoken flight mode. The difference is you can have it speak or you can have it displayed. So why don't we just display it? There's nothing wrong with it. It doesn't really change anything. Then later, if you want, you can have different trims attached to different modes. I'm not gonna change that here because the only reason I do that is if I need to, okay? So then spoken flight mode. So this gives you the advantage of having it displayed on the screen somewhere like here during normal operation, okay? So this one's gonna be stabilizer, or I'm not gonna type AS3X, am I?
I think we usually do just because.
Because it's like easy to tell what it means. So I'll just lie to the people that are reading it, AS3X.
Yes.
Are you sure I shouldn't say stabilizer off and auto leveling? Because don't they, I think.
Then go back and do the audio part first, and we'll have to see what it says.
Okay, so the mode. Okay, so we have to actually read through the list here. I'm pretty sure it's down kind of about the same, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
So it's like down, like on the
helpful
opposite.
stuff is at the bottom.
Well, stuff that you're going to use every time. I did have somebody asking me about throttle cut. There's one that says throttle cut on, throttle cut off. So there's stability mode, but I don't want stability. I want stabilization. Just agility. Give me a break. Haha, stabilization mode.
Stability mode.
That's so annoying. We just scrolled all over. She didn't even say it right.
Stability mode.
Okay, that's the way they would do it with the British accent, I see. So basically, we're going to have to go to stabilizer. So what I could do is I could put like stabilizer or stabilized, right? What would you say?
Stabilized.
It's
Either
just
one.
so much easier to just lie and say AS3X.
Yeah.
Stabilized. Okay, we'll just do it this way. So stabilized. Then this one's going to be off. Off. Cancel, cancel. Then I can type the letters OFF. Very easy.
Stability mode.
And then this one's going to be auto leveling. Okay, so auto leveling. And then we'll put, I think this one's pretty close up to the top, isn't it?
I'm not sure.
I know there's a couple of different ways you can describe this. Mm-hmm. We're just going to test something. Stability mode.
Stability mode.
So
So it's the same audio event. I'm pretty sure somebody got fired for that. We're just going to go back to auto leveling. Mail out.
there was self-level
Where?
right after the waypoints.
Self-level. Off. Stability mode.
Okay, so now we've got that done. Channel assign. I want to unassign that. I don't really care about aux1 being D. It doesn't matter yet.
Self-level.
See?
Stability mode.
Now, we just have to remember that's only a label, so we're going to have to make sure that matches. And then we have to know which mode.
Self-level.
That's on aux1. Okay, so aux1 is correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we'll put that channel 6 is going to control that. Channel 5 is going to control gear. And now we know what the rest of them are. But for the sake of time, let's do dual rates and expo real quick. Switch F is going to be in charge of all three. 5, 10, and 20. We're going to drop the rates down on the highest level. And again, this is highly subjective. I fully appreciate that. That's where we start. If I need less, it's more sensitive. If I need more, it's more deadened. And we do that for all three of the primary control axis by doing this all on one stick. And you're like, but why wouldn't you want, 3 sticks? You have 3 control axes. I'm going to tell you this right now. It's a highly preferential thing, and you can disagree with me if you want. But my experience has been I cannot get to 3 different sticks on something like that. Just get to 1, make your rough adjustment, okay? And then adjust from there. So make your starting point for all 3. Make your starting point, and then when you notice a problem, this is more to get to the ground the first time than it is to like have it perfectly tuned. Okay, start here. It's too touchy on the pitch axis, so I'm gonna go to this, okay? Feels pretty good on the pitch axis now, but the others are a little bit sluggish. So then you land and you make this your middle setting for the elevator, right? So this would now, the middle setting would now become 20, and you'd reduce the rates to 90 if you want. And then you would make this like 40, and then reduce it even further to like 75. And then up here, you would make this double what the original setting was, okay? So then you make your new middle, right? Okay, so that's my dual rates and expo setup. Throttle cut, of course, we want to set that up. It's a little bit less critical since it's an EDF jet. Looking down here, working, throttle cuts on, and working, meaning that the throttle is not moving. Now throttle cuts off, and we can see that it is working. Throttle cuts back on. Somebody asked me this the other day, so I'm going to do it real quick. In the audio events, switch changes. Highlight it, go to switch H. For switch 0, which is the position that is away from us, I want throttle cut off. So we're on switch 0, so throttle cut off. Tell me if you see it. There's throttle low. There's throttle cut off. And then this one is going to be throttle cut on. That's pretty easy to find, wasn't it? Now listen.
Throttle cut off.
It's supposed to be throttle cut on.
Throttle cut on. Throttle cut off.
Okay, listen.
Throttle cut on. Throttle cut off. Throttle cut on. Throttle cut off. Throttle cut on. Throttle cut off. Throttle cut on.
Clear as mud. So now you know.
I use it. I
I know.
have that set on a couple
Camera
of mine.
crew sets it, and that's fine. That's the only reason I did that. Okay, so timer. 5 minutes is probably a little much. Let's do 3 minutes and 30 seconds, and we'll hope for the best. Active. That means anything over 25% on throttle will activate it, and it's going to keep running. Then at 1 minute, I want voice, and then I want nothing at 20, and I want a countdown voice at 0 or 10 seconds left. Why are you so far over there? Expiration will be tone and vibrate, and then a tone every minute thereafter. Walking out of the menu. Okay, so now we have all the basics set up. And what I need to do is throttle cuts on, and we're ready to actually start plugging things in. So looking at the side of this, it's not silk screen, but you can see S on the top, plus and minus on the bottom. Give them a real close up. Like super zoom it in. Like with the zoom.
It won't focus.
Yeah, it will. Ooh, S. Plus, minus. Amazing.
That's amazing.
That is, look at my cuticles. They're
That's
beautiful.
gross.
Look at those cuticles. Amazing. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna plug these in right now. Throttle is gonna go in the throttle plug, which is channel 1. Okay, so signal is up, which means orange in this case. And then we have our mode. I'm just going to briefly pay attention to the way the wires lay. I'm gonna untangle this so it's like that. I'm gonna say, okay, we'll go back where it was. That was fine. And you don't know until you do it. Okay, this one is tangled up with the next one, so I'm just driving these side by side. That looks like it's upside down, but it's not. Okay, so I'm gonna just walk this along side by side. Rudder goes in channel 4. Channel 4. Plugging that into channel 4 would be there. And what's next? Let's grab this one. This one's S-Bus PPM. If you have an S-Bus PPM communication, serial bus PPM, then you can plug that in to save all the rest of the cables. Okay, so that's plugged in now. Then it looks like we have 2 more cables here. I'm just gonna grab those side by side. I don't know if you understand what I mean, but when I'm saying side by side, I'm holding them so that the flat of the cable is aligned as we pull them out toward the receiver. Okay, so elevator is on the 3rd channel and ailerons is in the 2nd channel. So I'm just gonna slide these in there together because you can do that if you're careful. Okay, very good. All right, so that's that. So channel 5 is unused.
No, gear.
I was just gonna say, why is it unused? Okay, good. So brown is down, orange is up. I just realized that that could be misconstrued. Brown is down. Okay, there it is. There it is, guys.
Okay.
All right, so now it's time to bind this thing. In order to bind it, I have to figure out what I'm gonna do with the receiver. And is it gonna be easier to bind it while it's out, or am I going to be able to slide it back into this area back here? The answer to that question is yet to be seen, but what I do know is I wanna get this stupid, ugly sticker off of here, and for that, I'm gonna use a pair of forceps. Forceps are an amazing tool. I like using them all the time. They're also known as hemostats, and they're used in surgical operations. Okay, these are usually a tool that's used for grabbing and also to block off like veins and arteries or whatever. I don't know, whichever one brings blood to the thing from the thing instead of back to the other thing. Just call me Dr. Brian.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Must
A
have
good doctor.
stayed at a Holiday Inn Express last night.
I did, obviously, because I got kicked out. So this is gonna go somewhere, but like obviously the gear line is so short, it's kind of ridiculous actually.
Yeah.
Everything else, good length, reasonable. That's just stupid. Okay, so I'm grabbing a 3200 milliamp hour battery. And in this case, I'm, yeah. What size is that? I'm grabbing a 4000 milliamp hour battery. Wonderful. You want to know why?
Why? Because
That worked good. Because we need to have the correct plug type, and I don't want to screw around. These are high quality straps, by the way. These are the good ones.
yeah.
They're the kind that people like. Okay, so we'll just slide this in, and we'll just more or less get it like where we think it's gonna go.
Ooh, that's gonna be a squeeze.
Oh, well, it's bigger than it's supposed to be. It's a 4000, not a 3200, or 3300 is what they recommended. But since I don't have a 3300 that's acting well right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am walked out to the regular screen. I'm gonna click, scroll down to bind. I'm gonna be ready. I never get ready in time. It's probably gonna time out. I'm gonna plug this in. EC3, IC3. Bind mode.
Bind failed.
Of course you did.
Binding. DFNX 22. Telemetry. Bind complete.
We have dancing of all sorts going on. Amazing. Don't forget, we need to do the elevators. Because right now they're not doing much of anything. Ailerons, rudder, amazing. Okay, so we're gonna pause and come right back. All right, so now that we have the battery in, we have the receiver mounted, not. We need to figure out what we're gonna do with the receiver now that it's bound, okay? So I'm gonna press all these wires in nicely. I'm gonna take this giant bundle of mess, which still looks 100 times better than how we got it out of the box, right? Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna basically just like figure out if there's a way I can wrap this. I usually come up with a pretty good way of consolidating it, but this one's just not gonna be, it's gonna be a pain, I can already tell. To be honest, it's not really a big deal to me if it goes in like this, but because the way the reflex is configured, the wires come out the top and the end. I don't wanna be in a position where the buttons are being pressed on the receiver while it's stuffed back in there. But honestly, I don't care. That looks good enough to me. I think it's gonna be fine. Maybe, I hope. I don't know how the center of gravity is gonna work out yet.
Right.
But that's undoable. We can totally change that if we need to.
Yeah.
So I'm fine with it.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about batteries. First of all, this is bigger than quoted or bigger than you're supposed to use, and that's fine. Obviously I have the straps not in the perfect orientation. I need to pull these through and then tighten them. Okay, and as you can see, that shelf liner with mild strap pressure. Okay. So now, a couple things we have to figure out before we can continue. We need to know what mode we're in. Mm-hmm. Why do we need to know? Because we don't want to hook up the elevator servo while we've got it upside down and have auto leveling trying to move the control. So we're going to move our mode. It's on a solid light right now. Now it's off, supposedly. Okay, now that means nothing. What she says means nothing because all that is a label that I set up. I don't know if the fast flash is auto level or not.
I think we're opposite.
That appears to be off, okay? Because it's doing nothing, okay? So down is off. The middle is, well, maybe that's off. That's stabilized. Auto level, okay? So it's trying to find the quickest route to level. Mm-hmm. Now that we set it level, it stopped moving the ailerons, okay? So come around, we're gonna click, we're gonna go to servo setup, we're gonna go to travel and scroll over to reverse, and we're gonna reverse aux 1. Now it's correct as it pertains to the audio vents and that little display. Stabilized, off, and auto level. Okay. All right, cool. So now the gear, we haven't tried to cycle them yet. I am going to go ahead and flip this upside down and cycle them for the first time. Gear. Ooh, yeah. Oh, it's rock hard. Rock hard. Rock hard. Oh, man. Ooh. At least they have spring loaded. The springs are really hard. Oleo on the nose gear is softer. I know what this plane could use.
Squishies.
They could use a nice, big, squishy pair. Which always gets me fired up. Right, hon? Mm-hmm. All right, so obviously the gear are up in the wrong condition. No, wrong. Okay, so I'm gonna click. I'm gonna go to servo setup, travel, scroll over to reverse, and I'm gonna switch the gear, okay? Okay, now now that we're in stabilized, I'm gonna go to off. I'm in off setting, just like I am.
You have that setting?
No, off setting. Off-putting. Sorry, I got that wrong. Okay, so this page, if you wanna show them that, where do we put, which hole do we stick it in for the elevators?
Outside.
Read the thing. Read the picture.
Elevator, arm, outside. There's no horn, it's a ball link. So do you still put it in the outside hole?
Okay, so if you really want to know, whichever hole makes it, you're in the light like big time. I don't know if you can tell when that giant shadow goes on the thing you're filming.
I'm trying to hold it.
Jeez.
You put it in the behind me.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab my ball link and then I'm just gonna twist it, okay? I'm gonna twist it a few times. What? Don't give me that look.
I didn't give you any look.
Yes, you did. They can't see because you're on the other side of the camera hiding.
Yes, where I prefer to be.
Tight, not tight. Look, we need to press this in. You see that? Press, 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 and then press. I think we're good otherwise. Okay, now watch. I'm holding this like with my death grip. Oh, good Lord, that was hard to start. See, now that it's started, I can move it pretty easy. If you don't have the death grip, you need to either get one or use pliers. Okay, there's that. Okay, so now this needs to be lined up with that. That's not gonna line up properly, so I am going to turn it in, and I'm gonna hold this again. Well, that's pretty dang close. So I'm gonna get this square, like that. Nope, half a turn more. That's pretty good. Oh, that's gonna hurt my finger.
Yes, it is, I can tell.
I'm gonna just get the tool.
Yes.
Hon, what's the tool called? The ball grabber?
That's what you want to call it, but ball link pliers.
So this thing's not called a ball grabber?
Linked on our supplies page at brianphillipsrc.com.
Jeez. Have you no respect for Google, their authority?
No.
Oh, me neither. I don't care. They obviously don't care about us.
We paid for our domain from them.
Yeah, we bought our freaking domain from you, Google.
We bought
you
both
morons.
of our domains from them.
Yes, and that's, you're doing whatever that thing is. You know, the thing.
And if you go watch any of our videos from our website.
Yeah, like if you would.
They'll just take you back to YouTube.
They'll take you back to YouTube. So it's like, you know,
purely an
get over
organizational
yourselves,
tool.
people. And if you want to be so profit-center driven, then maybe you could make some freaking money and then pay it in dividends, you jerks.
Yeah.
Because we could
I
use
don't
the
think they're
dividend
gonna do
payments.
that. Yeah.
You big jerks. Okay, there it is.
Okay.
All right, so now we're going to do this side. By the way, YouTube is owned by Alphabet. And, oh, you know, I'm not liking that. That does not work well. That's putting pressure on there. I'm taking it off. What would you do if you had to take that off, camera crew? You go in there like this.
You have to pry
it off.
Pry your ball off.
Here, do you want to handle the balls and I'll handle the tool? Or is that okay? Or probably should have put this on before, but then how the heck would you do that?
Yeah, what are your choices?
Well, you can take that thing off, which to be honest,
No, it's fine.
yeah, I'm sure that you would say that because that's the way you are.
And if you've been married for more than 5 minutes.
Yeah, sorry guys.
Is that going to be better?
Yes.
From the bottom?
Yes. Yes. Yes, 1000%. Yes. Not always, but in this case, it was putting pressure on it. Show the people what I'm talking about. Look, when this pushes the elevator up, it's gonna bend down like that. It's gonna have to bend the horn. If you put it in the right way, like what I'm gonna show you.
The rod is too stiff.
Listen, you're just overthinking this. Stick it in the hole the right way.
I'm overthinking this.
Look, like that.
Hilarious.
There you go. Okay, just like this. Now watch what happens.
That's not the same spline position it was.
It isn't?
No.
Okay. I was kind of glad you noticed that because I was seriously debating that. Okay, that's where it was.
Yes.
Okay. All right, so listen, why is that better now? Show the people.
Because it's not putting pressure on it, just like I said it wouldn't. So it's a good thing you listened to me.
Yeah, okay, I'll take it. It's married, being married 101. So now we'll do the same thing because what I'm talking about is this, guys. Full up elevator, full down elevator. It's obviously backward, but whatever. The point is this side, it would have bent the horn, which means it would have put additional unnecessary stress on the system. But you have to get this pretty dang close first. Man, that's like really close. Reminds me of What About Bob? When he's like getting all into like the corn and stuff. Like, it's so good. And his therapist is like annoyed.
Don't snap it on.
I know, I'm not snapping it on, I'm feeling. Because it's got to be centered.
Yeah.
In the balls hole. So anyway, you ruined my hilarious show.
I'm sorry.
It's all right. You get the next one. You can just trample all over my jokes.
Talking about What About Bob the other day.
You were? Who was?
Caleb was.
Was he really?
He likes the end.
He did when they blow up the house.
Yes.
It's a consplosion.
Yes.
That's what our son calls it.
He's 6 people.
He's 6. Okay. So now that that's off, that worked pretty good, ball grabber.
Okay.
So stick it in the hole, rotate. Okay, spline position. I think that's right.
Yes, that looks
okay. Just if it puts this back to where it needs to be, then that's what we want. Okay. Now we will watch. Elevator up, elevator down, except it's backward. So we got to check the elevator as soon as we get this done. We'll probably flip it around, put it on its wheels. Guys, this build has been super easy. It took
really
a lot
has.
longer to do decals than it did to build this.
Way.
Than it duded.
Then it duded.
Then it duded.
Then it duded to builded it.
Exactly. It duded. All right, guys, if you're new to Brian Phillips RC, what we do here is we build stuff, show nasty things on my arm on accident.
If you're new to Brian Phillips RC, thanks for stopping. We'll never see you again.
Thanks for stopping. Yes. But seriously, though, guys, we appreciate you being here with us. If you want to help support us, buy from the links in the video description below. If it's as little as a ball handler, you will make my day. But I need like 100,000 of you to do it, please. If 100,000 of you would just buy one ball handler per day, then we would be satisfied. I'd be more satisfied if 200,000 of you would do it. And for those of you at home saying, yeah, see, they took a garbage. There's not 200,000 people buying those things every day. Elevator up, that's wrong.
Yes.
Show the people. Up, no.
No.
No, no, no. No, no, no. Yes, no, no. Click, servo setup, travel, reverse. Brian, you went too fast. I have no idea what just happened. I'm so confused.
Slow your speed down.
Click on the gear down there.
Yep.
Okay, there's a gear. It's gonna bring up a little dialog box. Your screen's this big, it's gonna be this big. Speed, click, and then go to whatever speed you want. And then I will talk like this as I do everything.
And if you want
Or I'll
to...
think like this, if you want to say it. Okay, elevator up, elevator down. Roll left, oh, that's also
Man,
wrong.
also wrong.
Goodness gracious, aileron. Aileron roll left, roll right. Yaw left, yaw
that's
right. And then, oh, flaps, they're so satisfying. Rudder, yep, steerable's working. Beautiful, beautiful. Now, we have to test the stabilizer. Where's my pilot? Get over here, pilot! You're holding up the show!
We have to test the CG too.
Yeah, I know, I'm getting there. Relax,
Just want you to forget.
We can't all be geniuses like you.
I know.
Did you see how nice that went on?
I did.
Did you guys see this?
Yep.
It's not like bulged down. So there's room for the 4000.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
perfect.
Oh, show them the action. Oh, watch this. Oh man, that's penetration. Good penetration. Wow.
That's springier than it looked when it was upside down.
Wait, I know. I seriously though.
I mean, they're still rock hard.
Yeah, but these are like no soup for you because they just go, oh, spread the legs.
Is this gonna be tippy?
Oh yeah, it's an F-16.
Yeah.
That's why you got to have the missiles on, which I was mentioning earlier, and I think I never completed my story.
Probably.
So 3 hours later.
3 hours later.
Eventually you'll get it. Okay, so everything's moving the right direction, except now we need to turn on the stabilizer.
Self-level off.
You know what? That looks like it's pulling up a lot, doesn't it? That seems like that's up a lot. We're gonna have to trim that down. Oh, there's a lot of throw. I'd rather have it a little bit up than a little bit down, honestly.
Okay.
I think we're good with that. And we'll probably have to trim it down, and if we have to trim it down too much, we'll do a mechanical adjustment, okay? Because then we'll know where we want it to be, all right? So, a couple things we can test. Obviously, we have a 4006S 30C Smart Pack, and admittedly, Smart Packs sometimes in these jets, you know, you could use a little extra juice. However, on a 70, they usually perform okay. You get up into the 80s and the 90s, and it's like, yeah, it's on the edge of their performance limitations, if you ask me. But if you're using high voltage packs, you have to be careful about the S-Back or the U-Back if they are actually designed to keep working. So be careful.
Oh, that'd probably be good.
All right. Barbie pink stickers, beautiful. Right, now we're checking the CG.
Okay.
Or we're gonna check, nope, we have to check stabilizer.
Check.
Yep, rudder's going both ways, beautiful. Uh-oh, I've got cotton in the...
I know, are you leaving that for a while still, or are you
No,
taking it
I'm
out?
taking it out. Because I need it out so I don't damage the rudder. Okay. I mean, it's pretty soft stuff. All that was doing was holding that roll of the decal. So it's
While
done
it was
now.
drying.
Looks really good. I mean, the decals look great.
Yeah.
Other than the Barbie
The
pink.
pink.
All right, so if you guys don't know how to test the stabilizer, I'm gonna talk about that now. Stabilizers are gonna resist environmental impact that you're not causing, okay? So when you have the stick moved, then it's gonna allow you to roll the plane. And so if the environment is also rolling it the same direction, it's gonna allow it to keep rolling it as well. It's not gonna try to undermine your input, but it is gonna undermine the absence of input with an unexpected condition change, okay? So the way you can check this is if you were to hold this and look at the rudder and the elevator, I'm looking at the elevator, I'm watching it as I go down, it's going down. I'm watching it as I go up, it's going up, it's subtle, it's gonna be hard to see. You're definitely not seeing it from the camera crew's angle, but I can see the rudder going the direction that I'm moving the plane. Oh yeah, I can definitely see it, not getting dizzy at all. Up, down, whatever. Up, down. If you can't see, take your hand, lay it on the control, roll the plane, up, down, up. I can feel it. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Okay, now, time for me to try to film that, which is always challenging. Now the camera crew is gonna hide in a dark closet. Okay, I'm gonna roll the plane. Roll, roll, roll. Hard to see. Elevator. Up, down. How about this? Up, down. Rudder, easy to see. Toward, away. Toward, away. Just so you guys can see the transmitter sitting there. Okay, so stabilizer, stabilizer, stabilizer. Okay, you get the idea. So guys, that's how you do the test. If you don't do the test and you crash your plane, don't come crying to me because you have to test it. I have crashed planes that my grandpa built. He's passed now. And I crashed it into a curb. In slow motion. It was terrible. It was a Sig Duinger 216 twin engine. And then he rebuilt it all the way. And then we did successfully fly it.
We did.
And I had my controls backwards.
Reversed, yeah.
I don't even think my controls were reversed. It might have just been the stabilizer. I can't remember. Either way, if you want to see, we have
backwards,
videos
and we
about
didn't check it.
But the point is this. If you don't check it, then it's probably not going to be right. Elevator up, elevator down. Yaw left, yaw right, roll left, roll right. And if you're new to the hobby, move the thing. Okay? just like it would be if it was the plane. It's gonna help build some sort of a reinforcement mechanism in your brain hole. All right, so now, you ready for a blow?
Sure.
Was that enough?
You hook up the cat.
I don't care. Watch this. Oh, it's a hurricane! Ah! That thing's got some power.
Yeah, it does.
All right, so check this out. I gotta try it. Don't know if I can get away with this because it's kind of hard to hold in the vertical axis.
And the nose is like...
I'm not holding the nose. I was thinking about that.
Okay.
That's pretty good. Not quite hovering. I'm barely holding it though. Got some power. Out of the throttle. Throttle cuts on. Throttle hold. And by the way, it's not a throttle hold. It's throttle cut. Chicks, man.
She doesn't say that.
She says throttle hold.
Right.
Throttle cut off. Throttle cut on.
Oh.
Well, she does say throttle cut.
Yeah, she does say cut. Okay, so, sorry lady, you were right. Other than the Barbie stickers, I think we're good. Now, admittedly, if after 24 hours they don't come off, then I think they're gonna stay pink forever, I guess. I don't know. What are we gonna do?
I don't know.
So this thing is like ready to fly except for CG. So I'm gonna clear my timer because I don't wanna listen to it beep. By the way, if you guys are ever curious about flight times, just keep in mind on jets, err on the safe side of plan on it running out of battery earlier than you think. Okay, on the front set of holes, it's nose heavy. On the back side of the hole, it's really nose heavy.
Okey-dokey.
So that means we're definitely not okay where we have it. Big surprise. Okay, they should just not put trays here on jets. Just move them back. You know that they're gonna end up here, so why don't you design them with the battery here? Oh, it's so annoying.
Really?
Does it annoy you?
Are you sure you're annoyed? I couldn't tell.
It's only the 17th time it's happened.
17.
Every jet we
Way more
do,
than that.
every freaking jet we do.
At least you have room to move the battery in this one.
Yeah, but it's still
Really?
annoying.
That far?
Well, this is also bigger battery than they call for, admittedly.
Slightly.
But it's like, guys, you know what you need, so just do that thing. This isn't the first time you built these planes. And it's not like we're doing anything special. That's one of the reasons why I really like the shelf liner trick, because I can move that past where the Velcro is. Okay. And by the way, admittedly, this is a bigger battery than it calls for. So yes, it stands to reason that at some point you're gonna eventually run out of room. Now, you can actually run that sideways if you need to, but I wouldn't recommend doing it that way. I would just, oh good, it slides. By the way, if those things slide, that's a mark of success. If they don't slide, it's a mark of, oh, it's gonna be terrible to load your battery every single time you do it. And by the way, I might be going a little bit further than I have to.
That's what I was thinking. That was a big step, but
Well, it was nose heavy on both holes.
yeah, we'll see.
I mean, you gotta be able to stick it in both holes and get some, you know,
well,
happiness. Correct?
true.
At some point. What I mean by that is, I want this to be tail heavy and I want this to be nose heavy. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a minute if we can get this thing to balance out, okay? So get your lead in there like you're gonna fly it, okay? Remember, this is just, anything you don't do now, you're gonna do out at the field, so you might as well get this crap out of the way while it's dark and it's, you know, if you get an opportunity to fly tomorrow, let's say, because it's dark, then you'll thank yourself for getting this done while you can. I know so many people that wait till they get to the flying field to do this crap, and it's like, why did you wait to the flying field? Okay. I have to find my holes. Kind of hard to distinguish between the front and back holes. So I'm on the front set of holes and it's close to nose heavy and it's still nose heavy in the back. Not a surprise. Going back to the more of them.
What do you?
There's lead there that I marked with a lead marker, lead pencil.
Could be a pencil.
And I wanted to, it's graphite actually. Okay, I'm gonna slide this back considerably. So it's basically as far back as I can get it without undermining the reflex position. Like reflex, did not need to be there. Can you tell I'm slightly annoyed?
I can't.
I'm only slightly annoyed because it's every time we do an F-16 or a Viper. Every time. Okay, on the front hole, tail heavy, finally. Nose heavy. tail heavy, but only slightly, which means 4,000 will probably work fine.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, because if you did 3,200, you could move that forward, but not all the way up into the strap points. Are you kidding me?
No.
And side note, admittedly, smart packs do tend to be a little bit lighter for the same milliamp hours than some other choices, but they're also heavier than others. But like your garden variety battery, you're gonna come to the other side so they can see. This is gonna be my start point, okay? Now that doesn't mean I have to always fly it there. So this is the 4,000 milliamp hour 6S. Now, by the way, that's milliamp hour. Milli is a prefix, milliamp hour, not milliamp. It's a milliamp, M-I-L-I, which stands for 1,000 of an amp hour. That means per hour, that's what's consumed, 4,000 milliamps per hour. But it's not gonna discharge for an hour. So you can do the math and figure out how much actual capacitance there is in this. What? Why are you looking at me like such a nerd? So there you go, guys. That plane is technically ready to fly, less the fact that I sat there and ran it for like 30 seconds in a straight up hover. I gotta say the ups on this plane are gonna be probably pretty good. Also, I'm gonna say, look at this aileron with me. That was weird.
Are you having a problem?
Yeah. Well, I cut some trees down earlier and I got these stickers all over my legs.
Yeah.
And then I thought it was a sticker, but it was like something must have come off of the chair. But yeah, that actually, it's just the gap. I felt like it was, okay, so what I thought I saw the aileron up like this. But it was just the angle I was looking at it. Because when I reach down here and feel it.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it felt good.
And by the way, guys, don't be afraid to get in there and just feel it.
Right.
Okay? You got to feel it sometimes. By the way, look at how not straight that's tracking. Holy shnikes.
What?
Look how not straight that's tracking.
Oh.
Good lordy lord.
I thought you were...
It's like way off to the left.
I thought you were doing that.
Or to the right. Yeah, I'm like holding the stick at like 25% to get that straight. Okay, so guys, we're gonna have to fix that. Now, we don't normally talk about this because it's kind of private. No, I'm just kidding, it's not. We just sometimes we do that crap off camera because we don't notice it in time. But since we, it's already like a 3-hour long video, we might as well show this also. Okay.
3.5.
3.5? Good Lord.
And now you're fixing something.
That's all right. Guys, if people didn't hundreds or thousands of times a month ask me every question that I try to regurgitate voluntarily to you, then you would understand my problem. Okay.
Where?
So guys, look right down there.
What am I looking at?
Just come over here and look.
How tall do you think I am?
Stick it in the hole right there.
Wait.
Turn on your light. Oh, okay. You're gonna have to hurry.
Okay.
Okay, do you see? Now just show from the other side. I'm going into this spot. There's the control for this. I'm gonna loosen it with a 1.5 millimeter drive, okay? Now normally if I had like an angle, in fact I do, what I would like to do is I would like to use one of these little ones that I have that are a 1.5 millimeter. And of course it's like being difficult to pick up. Why would it not? These things used to come with like every plane. So I have like 3 trillion of them.
Yeah.
The Allen keys. But I don't know if that's 1.5 millimeters. Yeah, it's pretty dang close. If it's not, I'd be surprised. So now I'm gonna stick that in there. Now why this instead of this?
Yeah.
This is one of the occasions where it's kind of handy to have one of these tools, because now what I can do is I can leave that in there. You guys see? Look, amazing, right? Then I can flip this over, lay it on the ground. In my case, I've got a smooth countertop I'm using. You could be using a table, you could be using a runway, you could be, out in the grass. It's gonna be harder to do this. You see how it's kind of tracking? Okay, I'm gonna turn it. Oh, look at it, it's tracking like crazy off. The back wheels are off. What the frick balls? Oh, that fell out. That's why.
Yeah.
Okay, so, but guys, I'm serious law though. This is tracking off. This is way off. You see that? Look at that. That's the back wheel. The back wheel is out of tracking. This wheel looks pretty close. And you want those wheels to be slightly toe in generally, not toe out, because then it's going to...
What was that?
You want me to do it again? So look what I'm saying. You can get that as perfect as you want, and it's not going to matter, because if your back wheels aren't tracking straight, then it's going to crab down the runway. So I'm glad I noticed that. We're going to have to do this to the other two wheels if there's a way.
Do you have to tighten that front one?
No, because it doesn't matter yet.
Okay.
Because literally it doesn't matter. Okay, let's see if there's a way to actuate these. Yes, there is. Look. Now this one I can just use this. See? Right here. 1.5 millimeters. Ooh. Break that free. Is that gonna let me pivot it? Please say yes. No, that's not gonna let me pivot that. Oh, son of a biscuit lover. Is it? Oh wait, is there one on top and bottom?
There's one.
Yeah, there's one on both sides.
Okay.
That's too long, guys. Where did I throw that tool, camera crew? There it is. It's on my
Invisible
blended
countertop.
invisible countertop. Okay, so look at this. There's another one back here, guys. That's why it's not spinning yet. Oh, good Lord. That's going to be really a pain in the butt. Okay, folks, I got to say, this is a quality assurance issue, if you ask me. Oh, man.
That's going to be hard to break free.
Ooh, that felt terrible. See what I'm talking about, folks? That's all she wrote. Get that thing square. That is better. I just hope it's not keyed on there. Because if it's keyed on there, as soon as I tighten it, it's just going to square back up to the wrong angle. Huh? No, it's not.
It didn't look like it moved.
No, it's straight. It looks like it's straighter now. Okay, I just got to pull this out now. Now it should be free. And you guys see the deflection of the tire? Mm-hmm. That's what it took to get into that hole. Okay, so now that other side, it's way bad. Oh my goodness. Show them from here. Show them from here. That's just like terrible. It's embarrassing. Look how bad it is. That thing is out like probably 4 degrees.
Well, but how toe out do you want it? Or
you don't want
it
it toe out at all.
You want it toe in.
I'd rather have it toe in. Okay, so I'm gonna just loosen that.
Well, that's terrible then. I can't believe it.
I know.
I'm so embarrassed.
Camera crew, can you tell us more about toe? Tell us. Tell us what you know about it.
Well, no.
I didn't back this off enough.
I don't think so.
Because it's not wanting to swivel like the other one did. But you guys see, it's axially, it's grabbing it this way. Ooh, man, that does not want to twist at all. Okay, and if you guys don't understand what the problem is with this, then just think with me. If your back wheels aren't lined up straight, guess what happens to your plane? No matter how smooth your front wheel is set up, boy, that is like, I got the grub screw all the way out.
Yeah, out.
That's weird. And okay, all the way out, all the way out. Stay put, stop. Does this come off now? Oh yeah. Let's show the people what it looks like. See, it's got machined flats. That's kind of scary. You know why that's scary?
Because then like it should have a home position.
It's gonna wanna get down there. See, I would rather that not be machined flat, because then you could straighten it. Unless of course it came correctly. Like that's perfect. You can line it up with this line. It's very easy to do.
Well, just
this one's lined up with the line perfect. You mean just try to stick it in the hole?
Because maybe it was just not quite right. Or maybe you'll have a little bit of play on it.
Well, I'm going to be honest with you guys. That is a disappointing thing. Because like, honestly, I would normally not think to check that. And I'm glad I did. But honestly, I got lucky.
The problem is our runway is narrow. So
it's
like
10
you
feet
don't
wide
have a lot of room
at
to
the
correct.
narrowest and 14 feet wide at the widest.
If you're flying off of like a real runway, then
you mean like
you have more room to correct.
Are you talking about like an actual full-scale runway?
Yeah.
There are a few people that do that.
So they have more room to make minor corrections.
You mean like, so you're saying like if you flew on a taxiway that's like 70 feet wide?
Yeah.
Or 100 feet wide?
Yeah. Then
or
like
a runway that's 400 feet
then
wide?
like I could land there.
So you're saying that's easier? I'm just joking, guys. It's all in good jokes. Good jokes. Now, we can see how it does.
Okay.
Tracking. Pull it
Can we
off.
take that?
Thank you. You can lay it down. All right, guys, first of all, oh yeah, feels good. Now it's way off to the side. Oh yeah, oh yeah. You can just tell how much better that is. So much better. Now let's go a little bit to the left. If the pilot falls asleep, we don't want him to go off into oncoming traffic. Okay, so that feels really good. I feel like we've got it, maybe. I just feel like it's so close to perfection.
Well, I mean, it's only gonna be so good.
Yeah, you can only get it so good here.
Yeah. Do you need that back to put that?
Huh? Yeah, might as
need this
well.
back?
Thank you.
Which way are you going?
This way. Okay. So then I can access through this nice little cutout they've given for us. By the way, I don't know if you guys notice, but like every once in a while, the reflex like goes,
Yeah.
I don't know why. Don't ask me.
It's like the Halloween reflex.
I think it's kind of like an inactivity alarm.
Yeah.
It's like when you're about to fall asleep for a nap and you're like, whoa, what was that? All right, there you have it, guys.
Stab yourself in the head.
Barbie tattoos and all. That's pretty cool. Breast cancer awareness.
That's
Like if you weren't aware of
it's like
breast cancer.
Lavender. It's not.
What?
It's
Whatever.
like, this is Barbie pink.
This is Barbie pink. I think that's Barbie pink, if you ask me. All right, so anything we've missed? We talked about CG, we talked about the stabilizer, we talked about grub screws, we talked about tracking, which was an issue, surprisingly, on this plane. Honestly, it wasn't a big deal to fix, but it would have been kind of annoying if it like tracked that wildly.
Yeah.
We talked about how much power it has, which is good. We talked about the fact that the stickers and decals took almost as long as building and radio setup and unbox. Longer. By like twice as long.
Yes.
So in untypical fashion, you might be seeing the end of this toward the beginning. I'm not sure if camera crew is going to agree with that. I think we should put that at the end. Because like honestly, there's so many details that we cover that are like really, really boring. And if you guys like watching that stuff, I get it. That's fine. We don't mean to insult anybody's
story
intelligence.
time at the end.
Yeah. Oh, we did have story time. We were talking about our love and pure delight of Google and the way that they're definitely not trying to like railroad us right now.
Yeah.
So anyway, if you're a good lawyer and you want to work with us, maybe we can talk.
So if this is out of order and you haven't heard our story yet, you can watch that at the end.
Yeah. So the quick synopsis in 2 seconds is Google sucks and they're greedy and they want to take away every ability of their creators to make any sort of income on their channel. God forbid they would also make money while Google lines their pockets on all of our hard work. Yeah, pretty much. So if you're a fellow creator, you already understand this, I'm sure, but it is disappointing when you feel a little bit singled out, and that's where we are. So guys, if you want to help us, one of the best things you can do is buy these planes from the links in the video description below. If it wasn't already crystal clear, because we've explained it literally thousands of times, the way this works is they send us planes, we build them, we say, hey, this thing is okay, we had problems with this, problems with that. You know, we are totally truthful, which has got to drive them nuts because we point out every mistake that we see. And we also point out the things that we think are good about a particular plane. Sometimes we correct ourselves later and we say, you know, that thing we were complaining about actually turned out to not be that big a deal. Like for instance, this has no LEDs. Why? But at the same time, I'm not going to fly this in low light conditions because it's a jet and it's going to be very hard to see at low light conditions. But truthfully, it would look really good in the sunset. So that being said, that's what we do here. We're totally truthful to you. In exchange for that, we also go above and beyond on answering questions and going through the entire build process. This thing is ready to fly. When we started, it was in that box, in the shipping box, in the packing foam. And that's the way we have done it for literally thousands of videos. Not every video is a build video, admittedly. Not every video is as long as this. But at the end of the day, we are here with an audience-focused story that's going to help you guys get from where you are to where you want to be. If you're new or returning, those are the two that we really concentrate on. So if you're brand new to the hobby, welcome to the hobby. We're here to help you along. If you're coming back to the hobby from a hiatus, whether it was for having kids or a health issue or maybe some job that was super difficult to, just squeeze this into your life and now you've got that job out of your way because you got fired or whatever, or you quit, hopefully you quit, or you retired, even better. We're here to help you get back up to speed because a lot of things have changed. Some of them for the better and some for the worse, but I would say that a lot of them are for the better, like the fact that this transmitter costs as much as your 4-channel Futaba that you had, 20 years ago, where you had interchangeable crystals that cost like $120 a set, and you had like 7 sets, and you had to take them in and out of an airplane, and you had to go to the field and take things off of the pegboard to tell people which channel you were running on. If you're too young to understand what this is, just take my word for it. So anyway, I didn't fly in that era, thank God, but my dad did fly. And anyway, learned a little teeny bit because there was only like 1 plane. But then later in life, the grandpa came along. He helped me to experience doing some builds from scratch to electrifying them, as he liked to call it, to flying and crashing his planes. And then just enjoying company with somebody that's of a totally different generation, 2 generations separated, enjoying the same exact hobby. That's one of the reasons why we love this. But anyway, the way you can help us is we get these planes, we review them, we help get you up to speed on the tech, and then you buy the stuff when you like it through our links. That helps the manufacturers to know that we are reaching an audience that wants to buy their crap, okay? We're connecting you with them, okay? Here's the invitation. Go ahead and buy it if you like it. We're not trying to get rich off you, but we do make small commissions off of each transaction. So this is a volume thing for us. If Google kicks us in the nuts on this, it hurts us in the back pocket, okay? And the nuts. So that being said, at the end of the day, if we lose access to the links, we lose access to the income stream. Our income stream comes like this: ad revenue, sales. 1/3 to 2/5, somewhere in there would be like advertising. And then the rest comes from ad revenue. And then there's like opportunities and things that come up that are weird and sort of like don't have a monetary value, but it's still really cool. Like meeting guys that flew the SR-71. I would have never met that guy.
Right.
Pretty cool stuff. And then I could list off 100 other things that have happened since we started this channel that would have never happened because of it. And so that's just the way it is when you do things. Working on industrial scales for a living, I run into weird opportunities that I shouldn't have otherwise had I not entered that field. And that's true if you're working in HVAC, or you're a banker, or you're a construction worker, or you're out on a nuclear sub, or whatever it is that you do for a living, that you bring value to other people. It's good that you can extract some value for yourself out of that transaction. And that's all we ask, is that when you do get value, you go ahead and turn around and buy from the links. It is the #1 way you can support us. Bigger than Patreon, bigger than PayPal, bigger than Super Thanks, and bigger than YouTube members. And guess what? They all want to extract your value that you intended to give to us. The lowest of which would be PayPal. The highest of which would be Super Thanks and YouTube memberships, because they are greedy. They keep like 30% of it, okay? So just remember, we're not trying to make you guys feel guilty. Don't ever feel guilty. We don't even care if you ever did that stuff. Don't do this stuff. Just buy stuff, because we think that's a win-win-win. We win, you win. Manufacturers win. And the whole ecosystem of RC or weed whackers or tractors or whatever it is we're talking about at the time,
Right.
Everybody wins.
Yep.
There's value being brought and there's value being shared. We're not asking for something we didn't earn.
Right.
We're asking that when you do make a decision because you like this particular plane or you like that plane and we did it, then you just give us a pat on the back.
And we know not everybody can buy a plane, or we have a lot of people overseas that still want to support us, and so.
Right. For the longest time, we didn't have an EU, Horizon Hobby EU link.
Right.
Now we do. So if you're in the EU and you want to help support us, do it.
But we still don't have New Zealand, Australia.
New
we have
Zealand,
a lot of people
Australia.
there.
Guys, we have literally worked on ideas on how to get containers to you and try to keep the shipping costs down. Your laws are very complicated.
Yeah.
They do not like getting lipos in there, okay? I'm just warning you. You need to talk to your legislators, however your government system is set up. Say, we want to get lipos. We need to be able to bring them in. We love this hobby. So anyway, that's just 2 cents inside baseball from Brian Phillips RC. We try not to totally bombard you with this stuff. We are currently getting ready to do a huge 6-figure potentially project to improve our circumstances for RC. Okay, if YouTube undermines our ability to pay for all that stuff, it really is a kick squat in the nuts. And that's not good because it hurts, and it hurts our whole family. And no, I'm not worried about putting food on the table. If I was doing that and digging ponds, I'm an idiot. But the truth is, You know, I have a day job. I work my butt off. My wife had a day job for a decade or better, and now she's home with the kids, teaching them and also helping us to run the channel. So we have income streams and we're taken care of. But the thing is, if you want to help reciprocate for the effort that's continuing, then buy these planes. And by the way, it's not just this plane, it's that plane, that plane, that plane, that, and then go downstairs, there's 400 more of them. So really at the end of the day, we're not married to this particular one or whatever particular one you happen to be watching today. We want you to use those videos to make the best decision with your $700 this month, or your $300 this month, or your $75 this month, or your $2,500 this month. We don't really know what you guys have to spend. And it's really none of our business. What is our business is trying to put out good content that's going to help promote the hobby to as wide an audience as possible, and just really help answer questions and help get people off the bench, off the sideline. There's no reason. Put me in, coach. That's what you should be saying. I'm not your coach. You're your own coach. Get in there. And so at the end of the day, we want to help you do that. And the way you can help us back is to buy this stuff from the links. And by the way, yes, it does happen in real life. There really are real people that are at the end of these equations that really benefit from this stuff. We have a family of 6. It makes a big difference in our life. Okay. So if we didn't say thanks enough, we need to say thanks more. So thank you guys. You have made this from somewhat of like a crazy hobby into something that's real and substantive to the rest of our family. And it's what we're aiming for right now. So it's not just a small thing in our life, it's a big thing. Okay. If that weren't already obvious, now you know. All right, if you have more questions, we're happy to answer them. In the About tab, there's an email. If you guys have experience with fighting super giants, which by the way, Google is getting sued right now by the federal government for antitrust laws that they have violated repeatedly for decades. And the reason they get away with it is because they own all the legislators. It's the way it is. So, and we're on their platform right now. So hopefully they're gonna watch this video and be like, man, we need to shut that guy up. How do you shut people up? There's 2 ways. You can either kick them off your platform or you can fix the stupid problem with your system. They have done that before. That would be awesome. And you know what else would be cool is if we are a creator, we have access to super chat, or not super chat, just regular chat.
Yeah.
And regular chat basically gives you access to people probably in some call center in India or Afghanistan or China or wherever it is that they can get the cheapest labor today. And they know nothing about your problem. They don't care about your problem. And then they just pretty much just say, go away. That's how they do it. So like all the effort that we put into this, the hundreds of hours a week for almost 10 years now, they don't really care. They're just like, whatever, just go away. We have a policy to enforce, we're enforcing it. Except that they can't tell you how you're breaking their policy. And then you can come out and show them exactly what you're not doing to break the policy. And yet they will still hold you accountable for it. It's very frustrating. So guys, that's a short story. I know that was still probably like 5 or 6 minutes of explanation, but it's kind of hard to explain a complex issue in a short period. As you know, I can't explain a simple thing in a short period. So that being said, we will hopefully have the pink pulled in the morning or maybe in the early afternoon, and hopefully we'll get an opportunity to fly this thing. I cannot wait to fly it. It's gonna be awesome. FMS did a good job. Thank you, FMS, for partnering with Brian Phillips RC. We appreciate being partnered with you. We appreciate being partnered with all the different companies we work with, and we don't mean to single anybody out here, but Spectrum, thanks Horizon for working with us. We couldn't do it on our own because we don't manufacture planes. And I want as many amazing choices to be going through the channels that exist, which is like, we're just one of them. And we understand there's lots of other great places that you could be spending your RC bucks. And if you're spending them through us, we appreciate you guys. You are helping to keep food on the table. But more specifically, you're helping build ponds and buildings and damn gift shops and damn highways and things. Well, it's going to be a damn runway, crosswind strip. And then eventually the damn full-scale strip. So it's going to be next to the dam. So anyway, in case you guys were wondering, DAM, not with extra letters. So that being said, guys, hopefully Inside Baseball doesn't become too off-putting for you, but we do want to let you know what's really going on in our real world, because without you, we wouldn't really have this actual issue. Because there would be no YouTube channel.
Right.
So that being said, thanks for being with us. There's so much more to come. I'm not sure if the decals are coming right after this. I think they probably will, don't you think? I don't know. Can you edit that?
Yeah. You
can clip it on your phone, right?
Yeah.
So that being said, FMS, good job. Google, bad job. Alphabet, no go. So if you want to help support us, remember the 4 in order. Super thanks. YouTube membership, Patreon, PayPal. But the best is to watch, like, and subscribe, and then buy when you like. And by the way, Google, if you're listening to this, we have fought so hard to bring you good content to get people to watch your stupid ads for a decade. Stop being so greedy. Go look at our website, brianphillipsrc.com. It is 1,000 links back to your crap. So relax. Anybody else that's watching this that's not Google, disregard my commentary. We just need to get it out there because the truth is it does suck to be under the foot of the giant, and that's where we are. So guys, if you feel bad for us, the best thing you can do is just help support us, keep watching our videos, and give them the fat middle finger, which is what we want to do. Thank you. All right, so at the back of the manual on page 48, it's like after the Chinese instructions, they go in all the languages, or excuse me, 46. Yeah, so 45 is Chinese, and then it goes to 46, 47, 48, 49, or whatever it is. This gives you the different layouts of the decals, okay? And the decals, they give instructions at the end of each of the English, it's right here, guys. There it is. It tells you the water decal instructions, and this is the kind that removing the thin film over the decal 24 hours later. That's that pink stuff, I think. We did not have that on the F7F, okay? So what I want to do is I just want to show you, these are just regular stickers, okay? So they're easy, and we're going to apply that stuff, and then we're going to apply these right now. We'll probably do like one of each of these missiles real quick, and then we'll come right back with our next stage. So camera crew, I don't know if you can see where you are or if you need to be over here, but we're just gonna work through this really quick. And just so you know, the reason we're doing this is because when you build a plane, I've always found it a lot easier to apply decals before it's assembled because then you're not reaching in weird spots. There are gonna be certain points on this wing, I think for those white lines, that we may have to have it assembled first. So I'll just get close and then we'll kind of test because these things are all pre-cut and they should be pretty easy to apply. Okay, so we're gonna continue. All right, so let's identify which one's which. The top one is the gray missile, and then this one's the AIM-88, okay? So we've got these here. So this is the AIM-120. And then this is one of those things where it's like you're gonna know which way they go, right? Because they're ambidextrous. Ambidextrous. What am I trying to say?
Ambidextrous.
Thank
You said
you.
it right the first time.
So they can go on the left or the right side. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick this. Yeah, just a regular decal, nothing too fancy. Just keep in mind when you do apply decals to these painted finishes, many times they will take the finish with them. Now, just in thinking about the alignment of these decals so that they look similar, I'm probably gonna go ahead and just thinking out loud here, this big rib is gonna have to get flattened some. Then once you flatten that, you can apply your decal. Now again, this is just an ordnance pack. It's cool that we have those decals, except I just put that on upside down, right? Do you guys see what I did wrong? Because one's gonna be here, one's gonna be there, okay?
Oh.
So yeah, so I mean, technically, I think that one of them might actually be upside down. Nope, because they would always be pulling the missiles the same way. I don't know if I did that wrong. Because wouldn't one side be upside down? If you're taking these off of a missile rack, they probably, first of all, they probably wouldn't put this marking on there. I don't think they would. But you have to remember, one's gonna be right side up, one's gonna be upside down, okay? If you want them to be readable on the plane, okay? So then that defines that this one's gonna go on the right side and this one's gonna go on the left side. So I guess at this point, it probably would behoove us to take this wing and make sure that there's not something else that we're missing. Okay, so you see how the aim's up. So slide that on, looks really nice. And then I've heard grumblings from people that these missiles are too big for the wingtips. They actually use a smaller missile rail in real life, but this is just something that we do in the RC world from time to time. So that definitely looks correct to me, and it went on fine. Okay, so now that we've defined up and down, now we can move on to the rest of the goodies. It looks like we have our center of gravity sticker, which is pretty cool. It goes right behind this fin. That's a really rough spot to put something because they trimmed it really bad on this one. So I'm just pushing it down with my thumb. So there you go. That's pretty cool. So like on a real missile, this would just all be, you know, a lot of it would just be spray painted to market. And this says something about no lift, fragile, do not paint. Read it.
What?
I think it's a Chinese interpretation of what it would say.
Do not lift. Yeah, I don't.
I'm pretty sure that's.
Do not paint. I think it's just bad Chinese.
This is bad Chinese.
That'd be my guess.
So, oh, and that goes on the other one anyway. That goes on the AIM 88.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, cool. So that answers that question. Then there's number 2 and number 3. Okay, so there's number 2 and there's number 3. So it looks like, oh, good Lord.
Those are like the little skinny stripes, right?
Yeah, but there's 6 of them. Because you have to do both sides then, okay? So, oh, by the way, we've done this a million times on the channel, but if you haven't seen it, and you're probably thinking to yourself, are you really gonna do all the decals? The answer is no, we're gonna do the Ordinance on one side of each, and we just wanted to make sure to help you guys define the up and down, because that is a question that I would have had if I was watching a video like this. By the way, if you're brand new to the hobby, this is Brian Phillips RC, and we do, that was a number 2. So number 2, oh, so there's a rib that it goes on top of. So I'm just gonna find the rib edge and just stick it on there. That's good
cool.
enough. So once you do that, then you can just continue to do all of them. So we might, see it's kind of got that like low point on the missile. Okay, so you can walk that around. Looks really nice, pretty cool. I do like detailed missiles, but I'm gonna be honest with you. My experience with missiles is that they get on the plane once, and then they come off of the plane quickly, except for on the wing tips. So this one, I especially want to be ultra detailed. This is number 3. The reason you want to keep the wingtip ones on is because A, when you see a plane flying, first of all, this doesn't separate from the rail, except on the bigger models, okay? Because it doesn't separate from the plane, you would normally just see rails flying around. Like if you guys are in a city that has F-16 stationed, then they usually don't fly around with the missiles on there. They might even have dummies on there once in a while, but that's unusual even. And I used to grow up, we grew up in Des Moines, Iowa. They had a wing of a squadron of F-16s. And so that's why it's got a special place in my heart, because I grew up watching these things fly all the time. It was super cool. Okay, so that looks pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I kind of screwed the pooch on that one there, didn't I? But I don't think it's going to be that big a deal.
But in this setup, like the missile rail completes the wing. Like
Yes.
you don't want to have this.
Yes,
You don't want to
exactly.
have this empty hole in the end. Like
Yeah,
you put
you
the
need
missile
it.
on.
Well, and the hole in the end wouldn't be that visible. It's just more a matter of you want to have the shape and the line that you would expect to see. And that's one of the reasons why I don't mind a few decals, but it's like these. My concern is more along the lines of like, why is that not being applied at the factory? Because to be honest with you, as good as I feel like I am at decals, the factory people are way better. And I think the reason they do that a lot of times is because people will want to do different liveries on their planes. And that sort of makes sense, I guess. That looks actually pretty awesome. We always say that, and it's always been true. We've always had a positive. Like we always think they look better when we're done. Okay, so now same thing here. That's all the decals I believe on that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and mark one of these. And in this case, I'm gonna take the, let's double check. So this looks ambidextrous to me. Oh yeah. See, the other thing you gotta check is that it's flat. Sometimes there's, that's got curvature on it.
But do they both?
Actually, no. I think it's just supposed to be flat. I think that one just got a little bit of a bump on it. If you ever look at this and it looks scooped like to the right or to the left, then you have to assume which wing it's going to go on. And if it's got a gull wing, you got to be careful. Like on an F4U Corsair, or if it's got a really tall, it's a steep dihedral, then dihedral is going to be in this. So you can determine whether it's a right or left missile. Again, these are things that normally the factory does, so it's kind of unusual that we're talking about it. And I'm disappointed that we have to talk about it, but it's not the end of the world either. If you guys are new to Brian Phillips RC, what we do is we unbox these planes, we build them, and then we set up the radio. And a lot of times I think where the value comes to most people is people returning to the hobby, which is a big part of what we do here on this channel. Number 7, of course, is the closest to the front of that lettering with the dots going toward the front of the missile. What we like to do is we like to give people the help they need to get started. Is this supposed to be leading? I think it's supposed to be leading the seam. Kind of hard to tell.
It is a little hard to tell.
I don't know if it really matters, so I'm just gonna lead the seam. So I feel like it'll hide the bump just a little bit. Well, except you don't really wanna hide it. Yeah, whatever, that's good enough. But what we do is we go through the entire process because so many people that are getting back into the hobby, and if you're just brand new to the hobby, you fully understand this. There is a lot of stuff that these manufacturers expect you to just know through osmosis. And in fact, one of the things that we were annoyed about when we started this off camera was like, where's the detailed description of where all the stickers go? Well, I had to go to the back of the manual to find that, and ultimately it was there. But we have many times it's not there. So good on FMS for having completed the task at hand there, which is helping to teach its customers where the decals are expected to go. And a lot of you guys are super aficionados about where everything goes on a real plane, and maybe even FMS got it wrong. I don't know if they are wrong. We just kind of assume the Chinese are good enough at copying everything that they'd be pretty good at copying decals.
Put them in the right spot.
Yeah. So, and I do actually really appreciate having cool decals. I just don't like having to put them on myself.
Yeah.
So some of you guys may love it. Okay, so then anyway, the other thing we do is when we're done building, then you guys get the opportunity to watch us go through a radio setup. Now, sometimes we do subjective things in there, and maybe it's something you wouldn't choose to do, and maybe you would choose to do it a different way. There's only so many things that we can cover. We already do huge videos. Okay, so that's really cool. Then I'm gonna get the don't pick blah, 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 spelled wrong, confusing, lingo, incorrect, nomenclature and spelling sticker. That goes in front of this line, right? Or does it go back further? Nah, it goes right here. No lift, fragile rendino. I don't even know. Doesn't even say it in English, I don't think. Maybe it's not English. Maybe that's why. No, this has a warranty expiration date on it and everything. It's got a part number for the missile.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, and these are the ones that are gonna. No, these aren't the ones that'll probably stay on.
No, these are ones that you won't. That you'll probably never. Oh goodness gracious.
What? Right on the line.
Yeah, I guess. But no, what I was saying is like it says serial number and then it's got part number right after it. Oh. And then it says set. Goodness gracious. Gotta love it. I don't even know if that's right, but it looks cool. All right, so now we have to then also set the opposite on this side, which is gonna be a lot easier because there's an obvious up and an obvious down. So this of course will be over here, and then this will be on the other side, okay? So that's gonna be, the sticker in general needs to be about something like, oh, now I can just look at the drawing for this one. Looks like the 8 is gonna straddle, the pair of 8s will straddle the front fin set. Pretty cool. And then we'll pick up where we left off when we're done with this and come right back. I forgot the CG mark on this one, and that was our commitment, was we were gonna show the first one totally, and then show the second one when it's done. Okay, so the CG goes there. I mean, of course, this is just a cool detail. All right, we'll come right back, guys. The stickers are installed.
That page.
I know you were worried. So they do look pretty sweet. I'm glad that I did it. But again, I stand by my commentary earlier, which is I would rather the factory do it, because those ones are predefined. Anyway, so like if it's predefined, it's not like you're getting 2 different liveries for the missiles.
Yeah.
And yes, that actually is an improvement from what's on the box. So that's pretty cool. Although, point of confusion here, there's some blue here and here and here and here. And I believe those blue lines would have sufficed here. And if you look at that, these would have been gray, the light bottom wing gray. before this was installed, okay? So like this is the way this is gonna go on, and it's gonna slip back. It's always awkward to find a spot to grab when you're doing this. There it goes. So that looks pretty sweet. Definitely higher contrast with the two different colors. So I like that a lot. But then my next move, and Megan and I's confusion, I don't know if you want to call it confusion, because remember, like, I love this stuff. Megan could care less. She just films, right?
Right.
She tolerates it. But I'm looking at this wing thinking, I don't know exactly where to put all this stuff because I've never really studied intimately the lines. And so I'm torn between, do I want to just lay this out like this and then try to actually install these while it's here and I can control things better? And I think the answer is probably yes, because these are going to be a straight line, but then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to make that little jaunt up and over the center of the fuse. But then there's one long and one long that are here. So if you look at the way the decals are laid out, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes this. And then there's 1, 2, meaning the long, the hypotenuse of the triangle, and then the base of the triangle. It's I know it's not a right triangle, but it's close enough for the sake of communication here, okay? So there's one that's got a taper on it and one that's got a taper on it. I don't know which one's which. They're not numbered. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna peel one of them and then I'm gonna pick whichever wing it goes to. Ooh, this whole thing comes off. So because it comes off, they stamped it through. I normally would think that's a pain in the butt, but this might be kind of helpful. See the angle? Ooh, that's long, crap. Is that supposed to go all the way up to here? Oh, that's what it's supposed to do. See?
Yes, because then it would run.
Then it would run into the edge of the fuse. So it's almost like, yeah, this would definitely be this one. Okay, so I'm gonna ride this leading the edge of this to give me a place to put it, okay? So this is what we're gonna do. We're just gonna do the decals that we're gonna do like this. And then when we get ready to do water decals, we might do kind of like what we did on the F7F, where we just show a little bit of the steps, and then you guys figure it out on your own if you wanna, go in real great detail, okay? So it's challenging to do these super long decals. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna hold one side with the X-Acto knife, and I'm gonna hold one side with my fingertip. You're in my light now. And you don't want them to fall down. So I put my knife on the wrong side, guys. Did you see what just happened there? So I take and stick it, so it's just on the edge a little bit. This usually works good, and these are pretty good actually. They're easy to work with. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get this edge tacked down. Very, very obnoxious. I'm not gonna be able to use my X-Acto knife trick. I'm gonna try just a little bit, because you'll get a plane someday and you're like, oh, why is it such a big deal, Brian? Trust me, as soon as you put pressure on it, it's gonna peel the paint off. And because this has to be the exact right length, see, I'm too far down. But let's see if we can get it to go. Let's see how it looks. Because you can stretch these a little bit. Just to give you an idea. See, I'm short by 1 millimeter here because I overlap by 1 millimeter here. Now, watch this. It's a miracle. Sometimes miracles happen. Okay, I'm gonna hold this up. I'm gonna try a different way. There I go, there I go. Now I can press that down just a little bit and I can get my nice tight line, okay? Now again, some of you guys are gonna think, you know what, you're really overthinking this, Brian, just stick the decal down. I agree, I probably am. But, at the end of the day, I gripe about doing decals, but when they look good, I almost always think they look good. This plane had a ton of decals, and it was like a weird situation because I felt like, man, it's a lot of work, but man, it looks so good with the decals. In fact, if the decals weren't there, that plane would disappear badly.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're doing an F-16 or an F-18 that's got a lot of gray on it, this really helps to give some contrast up in the air, and it's surprising how big of a difference it makes. That being said, am I still annoyed that the factory didn't put them on?
Yes. Yes.
Because honestly, I feel like that's a lot of value that the customer shouldn't have to be doing. But there again, there's people that want it. So it's like, if you're, the expression, can I say that expression?
You're darned if you do and you're darned if you don't.
Yeah, except I was going to use the other word.
That's why I said it.
So, but what I was going to say is the whole point is, you know, if you're a factory that's trying to do this professionally and making money at it, then I guess the objective would be, oh crap, this is going to have to be located right. No, because if I locate this wrong, I can just move the box forward.
Yeah. I don't think you'll do the box until it's assembled.
Right. If I make a mistake here, then I'll make a mistake. It's not the end of the world. But it looks like on this detail, they're splitting this little bump. But that bump, yeah, so they're going right on here and here and here and here, okay? So that's where I'm going to try to hit. Now, the other thing too is, guys, if you're new to Brian Phillips RC and you're thinking, are you always going to do so many decals and waste so much time in your videos? The answer is, depends on if we need to waste time in the decals. Because the truth is, what we do here on Brian Phillips RC is generically, we do all the tedious steps. Now, we don't always do it that way, but most of the time we do the painful suffrage, and that's just the way it is. Because we used to build Dynam planes, guys. Just think about that for a minute. Oh, and then interestingly enough, if you're a Dynam fan, Dancing Wings planes also are freakishly tedious to build. They're like ARFs that pretend to be plug and plays, but they're absolutely gorgeous. And the problem is, what happens is you're going to get planes occasionally that need work like this. Now this one here, I'm pretty close to the edge perfectly, and then I'm overshooting, okay? So I'm just going to wrap the edge, okay? That should tuck in behind the missile rail, okay? And I probably stretched it a little bit.
It does look nice.
Yeah, it looks nice. I mean, it's a little bit different, but whatever. I know the thing on the back, that weird outline thing on the middle, I think that would normally be a function of, I can't remember why they do that. I swear I've heard the answer to that before. It's so weird, all these aviation facts that people know. It makes me feel stupid, and I feel like I'm into it a lot. But there's a lot of you guys online are way more into it than I am. And I'm going to build a freaking runway on my property. So anyway, folks, and I'm not talking about just for radio control. We already have that. I'm talking full scale. Which, by the way, if you haven't heard yet, we've mentioned it a lot. We are in the process of getting ready to dig a pond, which is going to help us to do watercraft and also to do floats and also to be awesome in general. But that's not our primary focus of doing the pond. Okay, so did we go behind the line? We went in front of the line or behind the line? We went in front of the line so that those little tab thingies stick out. So if you guys are curious about the happenings on the pond, the best way for you to follow is just follow along like normal. And we'll mention things about it from time to time. I can't tell which way this is. Is this supposed to be the other way maybe? It didn't seem like that angle was lining up. It's sort of stuck to my arm, but I'm just being really careful not to let it stick all the way. I can't tell. Yeah, that's the way it should be. I was about to stick it on there backward, guys. You know what worked really good last time?
I say that worked good when you held it up.
But I got to hold the right end up. So, and this stuff is really subtle. You're filming from the wrong side because I'm not going to be able to see. See this? This keeps the decal off the edge. Once I catch the edge, okay, then it's easy. Then you can just grab it. You can sit down and be comfortable. Relax it on the bench or the table or whatever you're using. And then you can just work your edge. Kind of pre-stretching it just a little bit. I mean, I could stretch this and rip it in half if I wanted. Of course, I'm using some level of control. Okay, and a little bit of overlap there. So that's great. If you're a pinstriper professionally, please tell me all the things I did wrong in the comments below. All right, so then we'll do the same thing here on the other one. And I guess what I'm getting at is if you're curious about the pond, which the pond, if you want to show the people the pond while they peel this one sticker off, it's like the exact same thing anyway.
Yep.
You can kind of show them where it's going to go if they're curious.
The pond is going to start up here, just kind of into this grove of trees. And then it's going to go all the way down here. We'll walk past our little, that's our, for our internet. And the dam is going to go this way, so it'll be kind of perpendicular to our current runway. So the dam runway is going to give us a crosswind strip option.
Which is another reason why we are excited about it. That's also going to provide that we'll have a road that goes out to the dam gift shop.
Right. Yes.
I'm sorry, the 60 by 80 building.
Could
60
be
by 80 by 20.
My dam office.
You could, we'll build a dam office over there, obviously. So that being said, that's all in there. That could have been worse. It wasn't too bad. Now, what's our next move? So obviously this is bad. Camera crew, if you throw that away. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white stickers like this that go on the fuse. Now, in order to put them on the fuse, I think really the next move would be to install the wings, except normally the wings would be installed later. So I think this is going to be where we delve back into the build portion. Now, this is kind of the tough part for me, because really it kind of makes sense to apply the decals on the vertical stabilizer before we would get into putting this together, right?
Right.
Because once you put the wings on, unless we just put the wings on and pulled them off, there's not always a super, super obvious way to do these things, folks.
You could also do those last couple decals at the end.
Yeah.
On the lines. Okay,
so let's find some happy medium here. And I think the happy medium is going to be, we're going to have to eventually glue that. But once it's glued, then you're working like this. It's a lot harder. I'm not saying you can't stick this in the plane stand sideways or even have that as something to make it heavy so it doesn't move for you. But once you're putting them on, it is considerably harder to do it once it's assembled. The only reason I want this, I think what we can do is we can use this to get our white stickers on, okay? What we'll do is we will just literally stick this on here to get our marks. Yeah, oh yeah, we can just stick them on there. Okay. We just need to remember very carefully that we don't have our wing strut in, or our wing spar, rather, not strut. This is going to tell us where everything is going to line up. Okay, just like that. Very, very nice. Okay, cool. Oh, also, we haven't even showed you inside. This is very disappointing damage right there. That is not cool. Oh. Yeah, I don't like that at all. By the way, if you don't have gray paint, I've used this trick before and it actually does work pretty good because that's like a weak spot. You can use a gray marker, which gray markers are actually not amazing because they're so light on light foam. But I have found that one of the tricks of the trade would be if you just want to darken one little teeny tiny spot, you can use just a regular pencil. And I've got, I want to get some fresh dust. Because there's texture on the bottom of our cabinet or on the countertop. So you see what happened there, guys? Now it's going to blend in a little bit better. And it's not like it has to be perfect, but that's kind of like a place you're going to see as a pilot all the time. By the way, this nose looks sweet. Very cool. They did the high contrast color, which is kind of neat. So you've got that sharp color there change. I don't think there was any decals up on the nose, was there?
I don't think so.
Same as, yeah, they do have a sticker on there.
Under the cockpit, there should be
on the Alabama ones, they do. It says City of, wait, what is that?
Is the Auburn sticker up there?
Same as above? Same as above? They must have meant same as the above if these were all the same. Same as the above.
Those are just
like do not paint. It says do not paint.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it just shows some of the stickers. I think those stickers are the same amongst all the models, but what we're concerned about right now is this.
Yeah.
Because we don't even have our wings mounted. So I just wanted to show you how the reflex sits in there, which is pretty cool. Honestly, look at this mess of wire. What a joke. Why can we not have that better? That is so frustrating for me because we've had so many F-16s and they've always had a huge mess. And guess what's going to happen? We're going to want to get this battery way back here at some point. I just about guarantee you that right now.
Yeah.
And then guess what's going to happen? We're not going to be able to get it there because the receiver is in a spot that's inopportune. And then why do we have a prop warning on an ESC? If you can reach that with any of your appenditures, you're doing good. You're doing good. That's all I got to say. Because I don't think I have that problem. Just saying.
Just
yeah. All right, so you see what I'm doing here? I'm just trying to get this thing lifted so it's just out of the way. Now, the reason I'm bummed about that aspect of the wires being just slobby, that makes that hard to rip off, is that if I wanted to put in flaperons, I have to be able to, okay, so there's the gear, rudder, throttle, elevator, ailerons. Here's ailerons, okay? So the ailerons come in here. Gosh, what a mess. Look, how did they even do that? I'm unplugging the throttle right now. I can't handle it anymore. There, the throttle, okay? So the throttle is going right here. And there it is, okay? The aileron Y cable is accessible here, but it's not necessarily accessible back here. So you have to essentially unplug this thing. Oh, that's the elevator too. You have to unplug this thing right here, and then you have to split the left and the right side, okay? So that becomes challenging. What is this? This is a big old loop too? Well, that's good because we actually have a lot of wire, see? So that's actually a good thing, guys. Look, that's what I was talking about. Now you have enough room to take your cutter and you can cut, you know, one set of these right at the edge, and then you can build another end, and then you can split out and do ailerons separate for flaperons. Because as you know, if you do flaperons, you have to have a channel for each side. Now that means you could use a regular receiver without stabilization. You could maintain stabilization on one side or the other, and then the other could be controlled by the opposite control. So you have control of it on your, you know, on your mode 2 with your ailerons over here, but you're not necessarily going to have stabilization and auto leveling on this side. Now you could also shut that mode off and you could just eliminate this whole reflex, or you could go over to a stabilized receiver, which is going to be considerably more expensive. You could also try to buy this instead of being plug and play with reflex. I don't know if they're offering it without at the moment, but sometimes they change that over time. So there may be a time where you don't get the reflex, and there may be a time where you can choose between reflex equipped and not equipped. For the time, because this is the way it comes out of the box, we want to be totally true to form. We are going to plug in the reflex and use it. So this aileron extension cord looks good. Now, also, elevators. There's 2 of them. You have a lot less room to work, but you have enough to work with, okay? So if I wanted to split my elevators and make a Televon configuration, then I could do that, which is pretty cool. And guess what? If you have split elevators, okay, and whether it's a full functioning televator like this, that's on a fixed shaft, but there's 2 servos driving them, you can make Televons where you can act as ailerons and elevator, okay? But in order to do that, of course, you're going to have to take this thing out that says elevator, take the Y cable, split the Y cable, and then you'll plug in the elevator to the reflex, and you'll plug in the elevator on your other receiver for that particular elevator type. But that's also a Televon, which means then your stabilizer would only work on half of it. So what people have done in the past when they really wanted to get creative is they set up Televons and then they use the ailerons exactly the same with the aid of a Y cable. So then they take, and that means you don't lose stabilization. So you use your elevator and your ailerons. You would unplug the ailerons. You would separate one side. You would make your end. And then you would take your left and right aileron, which means you need to actually test them with like a servo tester just so you can see. Okay, so let's say this was the left side. The right side, and then this was the left side, okay? Then you would do the same thing with your elevator. You would split them, make an end on both sides, and then you would put a Y cable between your left elevator and your left aileron, and your right elevator and your right aileron, and then you set up a Televon configuration, which gives you full control of pitch, roll, and then your yaw, as before, came from the rudder, okay? So you'd have full 3-axis control, but you would have stable laser on both and both simultaneously. And that's a cool way you can cheat the system if you want to do it. I've never done it because I've never felt it was that critical. That's more of like a profile plane sort of thing that I would want to do, like maybe like a flight test style plane. But in this case, again, we're going to go back to full circle. We're going to end up, I am going to do a little cable management while we've got this stuff unplugged because it is such a mess. This is the gear, and there's really no excuse for how tangled up everything is. I'm just untangling it some because, like, why does it have to be tangled? Well, the answer is it doesn't have to be tangled. The rudder, there's probably a couple that are going to be tangled still. This one I can undo and fix. I like these. These things are nice because these tabs help keep stuff from unplugging, but they do make it sometimes a little bit challenging to unplug them while you're trying to do legitimate work. Goodness gracious. Oh, and by the way, I was just thinking of this. We sort of are doing the decals on the wing. That's the whole thing we're doing right now.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just trying to get this untangled, and I did. I sort of understand why the factories just sort of tangle stuff. They just get it done. You know, just get it done so we can get the orders out. I understand and appreciate that to a certain extent. But it's like, on the other hand, it'd be really nice to not have to undo and fix all this crap. So there's the ailerons.
Like, this is so tingly. I don't know how they got it. So,
They worked at it.
yeah, I mean,
Like
it looks
somebody,
like they tried
somebody
to
hooked
make
it up
messy.
wrong, and then they had to fix it. But you see what I'm saying, though, guys? It's like, you have to work at it to make it this bad. There's some China glue. Pretty cool. We'll throw that in the garbage. Better than China hairs. We've gotten those
That's
too.
true.
And I swear there's been a few times that there's been like somebody that had a dog in the warehouse. Not on FMS planes, thank God. Okay, so we got the rudder. Here's the gear. That's going to go straight to the receiver, so that's not going to interact. The aileron Y cable, yes, I understand that's going to straddle half of this batch. Ugh, man, the only way to unstraddle that would be to take and unplug this from like 3 spots. So I think we're just going to have to grin and bear that probably. Fortunately, we've got lots of length on it to deal with. But you can see now everything is over here. We can see there's a nice cheater hole there. And we're going to plug in the ailerons here. So if you guys don't like seeing the cable management, I sort of understand and appreciate not wanting to watch this. But there's a lot of people that need help. I plugged that in backward. See how easy that is, guys? Then my ailerons wouldn't have worked at all. But you're not gonna like short circuit the whole thing. They just wouldn't get the signal. You could damage something, but it's very unusual. Okay, elevator. So now everything is plugged back in where it belongs. And as you can see, we have confirmed the way that everything plugs. You're also gonna notice one other detail. Camera crew, what is it?
Well, I'm looking where the receiver is going to go, but what are you looking at?
What's the detail? Guess.
Throttle. No reverse thrust. There's no extra
There's no
little
yellow cable.
wire.
And I did not see that from underneath either. And for those of you that say somebody else got one, remember, just because somebody else got one does not got it for me.
Right.
Okay, so
We promise we're not trying to hide it.
yeah, but also I just want to take a second to talk about this before we put our stickers on. We have had now 2 different planes that have had thrust reverse on a Predator ESC the way we have tried to set them up, particularly pilot fatigue setting. That does not work, and I have had crashes as a result.
Yeah.
3, one of which was weird. That wasn't pilot fatigue though.
No.
That was the FMS 1.4 meter T-28. That was sort of in pilot error.
Right.
The F-18 was not a pilot error, and I got lucky the way it landed because it landed in tall grass. The Futura 64, I didn't get as, it did it on the Futura 64 as well, pilot fatigue. So that's 4.
And then the
3 planes.
F-15.
The F-15, yep, that
Yeah.
one was pretty devastating. It damaged stuff a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still flyable and everything, but I don't like the fact that it's not working. And so for that reason, I might start leaning toward, yeah, it exists, kinda, but am I gonna depend on it?
No.
I don't think you
kind of
really
an-
can.
At your own risk.
It has to happen when you need it.
Yeah.
So anyway, guys, I'm the first to admit when I don't get something right. I don't know that I didn't get it right. I don't think we got it wrong. But at the end of the day, if it doesn't work perfectly, then I sort of lean on, you guys do it at your own risk. We'll show you how we did it, but it's not necessarily going to be the best way because, like I said, it's like, do you want your brakes to work? Only 100% of the time do I want my brakes to work.
Yeah, it's not really like a
Not an
suggestion.
optional thing. Yeah. Flyby suggestions find on an E-Sheen Warbird. Okay. All right. So we have 2 long, we have 2 short, and then we have 1 really long. The really long has got to be this one. Okay. So I think this one, we'll probably pop them out like this. So anyway, I guess in closing, folks, what I mean to bring up, when we bring stuff like that up, it's not meant to be like downer time. It's meant to be like, hey, we care about you as followers on this channel or subscribers or supporters, whichever direction you end up falling. And we want the best for your situation. And we empathize with you if you have the same circumstances come up that we've had. But at the end of the day, there's nobody holding a gun to our head that says you have to talk about thrust reverse. We do that under our own free will. It was brought up by me, for me, because I wanted it. And so really, I had nobody else to blame but me. I almost feel like this...
really far forward.
It does. So maybe this is supposed to be... This is the long one. Nope, this is the next longest one. So maybe it's like this. This is why we're doing this, guys.
Right.
Because you don't know. Because they didn't number these.
No.
But they did number the missiles, because those are more critical.
Can I look at the box while you're
No.
popping those out? Okay.
Don't look at the box. That'd be cheating. Okay, guys.
And that's going to be too skinny.
So now we've got everything out of there. This must have been like for the afterburner or something. I haven't
Is
figured.
it really all out of there?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this one here, yeah, that's it. I mean, we have it right. It's just that this reaches further forward than we expected. Yeah, we got to get it in front of this. So
Okay.
that makes sense. Okay, so guys, I'm just going to do this one at a time. I'm going to show you exactly what I do by like filming it. Sound like a plan?
Is that how we do this?
Yeah.
Is that why I'm here?
Yes.
Darn.
So guys, if you are new to the hobby and you're trying to get some help getting into the hobby, first of all, this is not the plane for you. Although it's actually not a super hard plane to fly from my understanding. That being said, I have had a number of different F-16s in 70 millimeter, and more experienced pilots are bad about doing this. And I'm just going to tell you what more experienced pilots are bad about doing. They forget just how hard it is to fly, to put skills that they have stacked for many years into a complete package of not crashing and having a good experience and getting the plane back to the ground in one piece, maybe enjoying it. Those are things that you don't get when you're new. You don't get all of them at once. It's very rare. And when you piece them together, it feels like $1 million or maybe like $600,000 or $700,000.
So where are you?
Because it's pretty dang good. Where am I in that?
Yeah.
I am less experienced than the really good pilots, and I'm more experienced than beginners. So somewhere in the middle.
I mean, we've been noticing that. We've talked about it recently because our oldest son is flying more.
Yes.
And it's interesting to see the difference in his opinion on a plane versus Brian's opinion on a plane.
Because his opinion is, I really enjoy some of these like way easy to fly planes, and I have learned that I'm not crazy about the way they fly because they're more limiting. Mm-hmm. And it's like, okay, well, I just have, and it made me take a second and pause and think about this. Am I giving bad advice from time to time for people? Like that F-18, I flew it the other night off camera by myself. Camera crew was busy with the kids, and I had a rare opportunity to just fly for myself, and I did. Mm-hmm. And I do that only very occasionally because we're so busy all the time. We're constantly filming stuff. And so I might fly 4 or 5 flights a week off camera. It's very rare. Mm-hmm. And so what you guys see is you're seeing a real, true to form progression of a pilot that's 9 years into a hobby. And to be honest with you, I probably get more experience putting planes together than I do flying planes. So like if you go to your flying field and you spend all Saturday with your buddies and you fly like 40 or 50 flights, you got a month's worth of experience for me, okay? Mm-hmm. So don't think like I'm out here flying all the time. Just because there's a runway there doesn't mean I'm not out earning the money to pay for it, which is the stark reality for us here on Brian Phillips RC, is that I have a day job that pays for this crap. And then the YouTube channel helps us pay for some of the other big projects we're doing. But at the end of the day, I could never do this on the YouTube income. It's not anywhere near that.
Nope.
Our family couldn't live on it, that's for dang sure. And it's not that it's like a bad thing to have. I mean, trust me, it's awesome, but it's not enough. And anybody who has experienced buying a piece of property, you're gonna learn really quick. It's a lot more expensive than you thought it was gonna be. And it's a lot more work than you thought it was gonna be. It's both.
Yeah.
So not that I wouldn't do it again in 10 seconds, I would. In fact, I would probably do it again 10 years before if I could have. So if you guys are new to the hobby and you're just, you know, trying to kind of size yourself up against what you're seeing on this channel, I just want you to understand that, you know, I'm not the best pilot and I'm not the worst pilot. That's usually about the way I put it. Dang it, I stuck it almost in the exact same spot. I know you can't see. Camera crew's gonna have to move if she wants to see.
Well, I know, but I'm trying to figure out where I can
I have to release this canopy hatch and then pull this like a piano string. Oh, jeez. That's probably about as good as she's gonna get. See what's going on? Then I'm gonna take this knife and I'm just gonna clean this little teeny bit up right there and just let it drop down. Boop, boop.
Do you have...
That's good enough.
It is. If somebody ended up with like a big gap here, is there sticker material on that you could use to like...
Oh, yeah, white?
If you really like screw the pooch on something?
Yeah, there's a little teeny bit of an outline here.
If you needed
It's like if you really needed a little bit. I mean, it would be nice to... But see, the thing is, I pulled that and it didn't... Can you hand me the X-Acto knife there? Thank you. Where's your opportunity to stab me?
Oh,
kind of,
shoot.
Speaking of screwed the pooch.
Well.
I'm gonna pull this off halfway. See, look, that is what I warn people about all the time. You try to get greedy on your decal placement and that's what happens. I'm pulling it really tight. And by the way, when you pull a decal really tight like that, guess what happens? It gets warm in the sun and it does relax a little bit. And then other times it gets cool and then it goes and it contracts and it just peels off. And then you lose your paint. Otherwise, the box is done. So that worked okay. It wasn't easy, it wasn't quick, which is exactly what we thought when we started this process. Oh, and there's also these things.
All of those still?
Those.
Yes.
Yeah, because that's all the decals that are just regular stickers.
Yes.
Now, I gotta say, you know, I do have a bit of an affinity for these wet decals because they just look really nice. And this is a smooth bird. Feel it. Like put your hands on there and slide your hand along that.
We've had some
That's
really...
smooth.
It is. We've had some really nice, just regular vinyl stickers lately, though, too.
Yeah,
I
gotta say, and you wanna know who does those? E-Flight. And you wanna know who puts them in the box? FMS.
I know, that's why
because it's a premium feature. They buy a premium feature, they deliver a premium product. It's not like there's anything wrong with this product at all. In fact, it's a premium product too. But the thing is, at the end of the day, you know, there's always this morph in the RC world. And that's why it's good to watch a channel like this, is because even though you've seen us build 4,700 planes, it's like, hey, is this plane really good? Like I've seen a couple of guys at the club and it looks nice, but you know, I'm not sure I trust those guys because maybe they took out the airbrush and really made it look good,
or they replaced every servo on the plane.
Or changed the throws like John would do. To 175%.
If John's watching an hour and 5 minutes into this video, then
you need
John.
to get something else to do, John.
Go fly a plane.
Go fly a plane, yeah, that's right. Go film a video. This one does not want to go on. Oh, of course. There it goes, finally. Sometimes they'll do that too. The reason I'm putting those on is because, like, honestly, it looks pretty sweet. I'm loving the way that looks.
I know, just don't pick it up though, because it's
That's
not
so
attached.
cool. I know they're not attached with a spar. Okay, so, but just to show you guys, I mean, that looks pretty awesome.
It does.
The scale lines are really good. And to be honest with you, if there was a plane that I've seen thousands of times, it'd be the F-16. So that's good. And I love this livery. I do. I have a Thunderbirds livery. Some people won't like that. I'm sorry. I don't care. I watched them in real life flying for a long time, and I love the way they look. I like the way they look because this is a killing machine and I want it to look like a killing machine. I don't want it to look like a showbird. A showbird is cool and there's a place for that.
They don't usually or always have the white, that white outline, right?
Well, I think that the white outline is a trim detail on this livery, but I don't know.
So I don't remember that growing up, but.
I think it's probably gray on gray. So, but that being said, it's still fine. It looks really good. So I like the way it looks. It's pretty sweet. I'm always really happy when these planes look nice. And to be honest, if they don't look nice and they fly good, I don't like them. But if they look good and they fly bad, I also don't like them.
Well, you still like looking at them at least.
I won't be looking at them.
Well,
see, that's the thing.
That's true.
That's what I'm talking about. Like, let me give you an example. SR-71 looks nice, flies well. Okay, let me give you an example. Looks nice, looks amazing. And by the way, that's up against this, which is like a scale model. Okay, it's like a replica.
Yeah.
Looks nice, flies very good, but also harder because it's heavy and it finals like long forever. Yeah. It's got amazing wheels that actually roll, that have bearings. So if you're not putting down in grass, you better have a long runway or add thrust reverse or brakes, which you can do brakes. That plane looks nice, even though it's cartoonish, and I love the way it flies. And what do I do when I come home? And I'm in a hurry to fly and I've got 15 minutes to fill before the sun goes over the hill.
You fly that one.
I fly that one. Why? Because that one is scary to fly, even though it flies all right.
Right.
And it does relax into a perfect landing slope. Okay?
And this one is
This
pretty.
This one flies well.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it, but I don't want to crash it because I love looking at it.
Right.
Okay? And it's slightly harder to fly. Well, it's significantly harder to fly than that. If
Yeah.
you're flying this and you think you can get this, don't. Okay? Wait longer.
Yeah.
What else do I fly? I come over here and I'm like, what can I get to quick?
Well,
I fly the Viper.
part of that is our stacking.
Okay? Do you have a problem with my stacks?
I do have a problem with your stacks.
I know she does. Or I fly the Carbon Z, which is really fun to get out. So what I'm saying is, it's not just about looks. It's not just about the finish. It's about the combination of timing, opportunity, batteries that are available, how much, trouble that you want to risk with a crash.
Right.
Which is all things that I consider when I pick a plane. Mm-hmm. And that's why there's a lot of planes that sit downstairs and don't get flown.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna ram this rod right in.
Jeez.
Watch this. What?
Like a little warning would have.
Whoa. Oh.
Wait. Are we building this thing now, or?
I'm torn.
I can
So
tell.
guys, we went on a very big diversionary trip there.
That was, yeah.
We gotta glue the tail on. These things don't have decals. You know, it has a ton of decals, the body of the plane and the tail. Mm-hmm. I think in this case, there's no other choice. We got to put the decals on.
Okay.
I don't see how we're going to do it otherwise.
Well, and it's fairly windy. The wind is not great.
Oh yeah,
So
show them the windsock.
We're probably.
So YouTube, if you haven't already experienced this for many, many moons with Brian Phillips RC, then welcome to the club. There's one of 3 giant windicators that we use. Now we have windicators for powered paragliding, and we use them for radio controlled airplanes as well. Powered paragliding being where you put a parachute on, which is called a wing, and you have a big giant fan on the back and you intentionally fly into the air with it. Yes.
Like a crazy person.
That's right. And so yes, I do that. I haven't done it enough. I'm very new at it. We have some very limited footage on it, but at some point, that's why we buried the power lines, that and for the radio controlled. But really, I don't worry about catching myself on fire and dying a horrible death right in front of my children with RC planes. I do with power lines and powered paragliding, which those lines are Kevlar. They're not rope. Well, the control lines are. So I think our next move, and that little diversion, is just to help you understand just how obsessed I am with this aviation stuff. Doesn't mean I don't love RC cars, boats, trains, all this stuff. I used to have a train board on my wall. That's how big of a nerd I was. And this train wall came down. It was a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and it came down. There was a 12-inch board. We had hinges down the length of it, a piano hinge. And then there was legs that were vertical, and you lowered it down like this. And then when you were done, you put it up and you hooked it to the turnbuckles, and it was out of the way in the room. And it was awesome.
We need one of those downstairs.
We do. That'd be super fun. But anyway, this is the real Brian Phillips RC. This is not made up. This is not like, hey, I need a new income source. Let's do this. However, there are some aspects of that that have derived from doing a YouTube channel. But I love this stuff, and we love that you're here watching. So if you guys are brand new to the channel and you're like, hey, I want to suck this stuff up because I just need to learn as much as I can as I get back into the hobby, you're in the right place. Okay? So back to the point. There are several liveries. Looks like they're going to indicate where all the decals go. And then same as the above is going to be indicated up here. Unless there's a deviation in a particular trim livery.
There's one set of the decals that says all, and then they're like split into the individual states.
Okay. All right. So what that means is if we like the Alabama, I kind of like the Alabama one on this. I want to look at how this lays on the rudder though, because that is one of those things that it may be cool, but if it splits in a weird spot, it's going to make for an ugly finish. I like that that's all on the rudder, and maybe they all do that too.
I think they're all going to split.
Yeah, that one's going to split like bad. That one's barely on, but it's California. No thanks. Stinger, no. Bore, It's Arkansas. I do kind of like the way it looks, but it's a warthog.
Yeah.
You know, if this was an A10, I'd be all over it. Okay, so I think we're going to do Alabama because why are we doing Alabama? We have other reasons.
Because we've never been there before.
But we're going to be there.
I know.
When?
Probably the week after this video releases. We're going to be there October 19th through the 20th of 2023.
2023? So if this is 2024, are we going to be there in a week?
I don't know. Probably not.
Probably not is right. So what we're trying to say is this is your reminder. We're going to
Bigfoot in the fall.
In the fall.
Birmingham RC.
Birmingham, Alabama. So we're going to do Alabama in honor of that. We did not know this was coming.
We did not.
We did not plan this out.
Planned.
We are not that good at planners.
No,
okay?
we're not.
So that means, speaking of bad planning, if you're a bad planner too, and you want to see us in person, and you can say hi and say, you know, we enjoy your footage and thank you for thinking of us, the prisoners.
If you're, maybe we shouldn't invite the prisoners.
Oh, well, I mean, if they've been released recently.
Well.
Maybe if they escaped recently.
Do you have special ankle?
We have this running joke, guys, about toilet wine. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's because our videos are so long, you could make a batch of toilet wine in prison.
We'll see our pretend prisoner friend.
Yes, our pretend prisoner friend. Have we told the story hundreds of times?
I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want to.
So anyway,
tell
we're at
that
RC
story.
Fest, and up comes this dude. And he's just really over the top. And I'm only slightly more reserved when I first meet people. And
Slightly.
he walked up and he was like, hey, Brian, I got my toilet wine ready, or some stupid thing. And I was like, what is he talking about? Because it was in person, not on a video.
Yeah.
And later, anyway, somebody came up to me later and they're like, do you know who that guy was? And I was like, no, I don't know who that guy was, but he seemed a little bit weird, which I was like, whatever. But anyway, it turns out he was the guy that flew the SR-71, which is pretty cool because then Horizon did an expose on him too. I don't know if it was an expose, but he did come up later and say,
and we did talk to him.
Sorry, I probably.
And he did ask me if you would think that was funny.
Well, I did, but I was like talking to other people at the time. So yes, so we've met all sorts of really cool people when we have been just in the execution of this channel. Like I would have never thought it would have turned into what it's turned into, which is really cool, and it wouldn't have happened if it weren't for you guys watching. Now that being said, and I say this carefully, it has not been easy. Okay, anybody who's watching this channel and thinking, I'm sure my wife would let me have hundreds or thousands of planes in my living room.
And would spend hours and hours and hours a week working with you and running your channel.
You know, you might want to just.
You might want to check with her first.
Want to think that through just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's, you know, it might not work as good for you as it did for me.
She might not want to.
But maybe it will. We just want to make sure that we protect our audience from death. Because most of you would probably end up dead. That being said, we do enjoy this. I love the hobby, like I said, and I love flying radio-controlled airplanes. But just another like really quick caveat to that, and that is there are certain things in life that become work that wouldn't be work if there wasn't any professional level to it.
Right.
Okay? So there's this expression that people say, and it's something about a hobby. Oh, geez, that curled like crazy.
I
Do you
know.
guys see? I'm doing this white thing on the top because I figured it'd be a good thing to do like at the beginning. They said to let them soak for 2 minutes, okay?
Am I timing you?
Well, I mean, not really. I mean, you don't have to really probably time it, but what I am going to say is I'm going to let that get flat, okay, because it'll be better. I used a bowl today because I wanted to have more warm water, okay? But I guess what I was saying is one suggestion, there's been a few other YouTubers that have suggested slightly otherwise. Oh, it's separating because of the waves. So I'm just letting it sit.
Okay, just let it sit.
Yeah. And that pink is still pink. That's so weird.
We don't usually let them sit for 2 minutes, so we're kind of trying to like...
We're trying to maybe like go a little closer to
Yeah.
the directions to see if that... I don't know. I don't think I'm going to wait. It's coming off of
It
there.
hasn't even been a minute.
I know it's like coming off, so I got to pull it out of here.
Okay.
But now the paper, whole crappers, it's floating. It's floating away.
Oh.
Look, show the people.
Yep.
See? Mm-hmm. So the problem is that paper is like stuck to the bottom. It's suctioned down. So I'm really kind of having a hard time getting that out of there. So I usually use plates, guys. Okay, this is not so perfect. You see what's going on? I cannot move, you realize. So you're going to have to move your body.
I'm over you.
Okay. I put it back on the wax. Woo! That was a save, guys. Okay, now that needs to go forward. Okay, so this goes forward. Sorry, I got distracted from what I was talking about. I won't leave you guys high and dry on this. Okay, that wasn't so bad. And there's actually a little groove you can just follow right there on the top. Okay, so then once you get that on there, this has a little bit of adhesive. So like if you have to remove it, if you have to move it again, then my suggestion is that you keep the last one that you did in case you need to try to steal a little more adhesive, okay?
Or
So
a big
this is
chunk
this
like
is
that.
smooth here, by the way. Okay, yes, this is going to be way nicer decals than what we had on, the application is going to be a lot nicer than on the F7F.
Oh,
There's just not near as much
all the rivets and
real
stuff.
estate. You know, like the change in elevation is not the same.
yeah.
So I think it's going to be a lot easier. Then once this dries, I believe that pink thing will just like literally come right off.
Weird.
Okay, so
Finish your story, and then we're going to go do
Well-
decals, right?
well, my story is, well, we're still doing decals. I'm just saying, we're going to do decals on the next thing. So I guess my point is there's been other YouTubers that had suggested that, you know, like everybody do a YouTube channel. I'm just going to give you some real advice from a real person that has a real job, that has a real family of 6, that has a real wife, that has a real piece of property that's big and has to be mowed and stuff like that. Just don't.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be my suggestion. Now, that I know some of you are thinking, yeah, because you don't want a competitor. That's not why I'm saying it. And the reason I'm not saying it for that reason is just because, to be honest with you, it's so dang hard to start in YouTube right now. We got
really
lucky
is.
when we started.
Yeah.
We got lucky because you could actually start then. My wife had a monetized channel too. And the monetized channel got demonetized because they decided like there wasn't enough traction. And so we're just going to give you the big middle finger,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Well, I'm working on this channel now.
Yeah. So it's like, oh,
Can't
okay.
run
So
two-
we'll just give
you
you more
certainly
money in this way
Can't
here.
run 2 YouTube channels.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you could if you really wanted to and didn't have 4 kids and 24 acres to take care of.
Yeah, and another
And
job
ponds.
and a, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All that crap. So anyway, I guess the point is, we probably think it's a little disingenuous to assume it's just like an easy peasy lemon squeezy, because that's not true
It's
at all.
not, no.
There's way more that goes into this crap than you guys see on a regular video. By the way, look, there's a bee right there. That's the bee.
He landed on the stinger.
What? That is hilarious. Give them an ultra close up.
I am.
That is hilarious. Bees. Do you ever watch the Bees chick?
What?
She like rescues bees
Bees?
on Instagram,
No?
Facebook, all over the world. She's a super big following because she's like really pretty, obviously.
Oh.
And she has bees. She literally chases the bees, and she says it all stupidly. Okay, anybody who's seen it, just put it in the
Alright, I'll have
comments
to-
so that my
oh,
wife
he's
doesn't think
gone.
I'm a nut. But it's
gonna
so
go
cool because she like recovers the entire nest of
Like the
them.
hive of them and moves them? That's
Nest,
cool.
Whatever. I'm not a beehiver.
It's super nice here because it's fall, and it's been like 95 degrees earlier this week, and now it's like 30 degrees cooler. So we opened our patio door back there before we were getting ready to film.
Yeah, and then 2 bees came in. One of which I caught on a screen, opened the screen, let them out.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
And we have no screen on that door because our cats used to climb it.
Yeah.
So
now we
we
don't.
don't usually let bees in our house.
The bees.
That looks really cool.
Yeah, kind of wish you would have had white behind the Alabama. By the way, I want to point out one thing about the Alabama sticker. You see how it bridges? Mm-hmm. This is going to be tricky. I'm going to have to think about this on the next one. That is going to be, once you cut it, it's going to be dry.
That was my question. Do you cut it now?
Well, I don't think there's any option, but like, have you ever cut a decal? It's not easy.
It's not very fun.
Where's my X-Acto knife? Did some moron put
You
it
put
away?
it away.
He did. That was me. So anyway, getting back to our long, deep, heartfelt conversations about YouTube. So currently we're fighting YouTube on a couple of different incidences where they have said that like our links are spam, which is ridiculous because they're not, by definition not.
Right.
And by like legal definition, they're not.
Right.
And then there's the other, what's the other word that they use?
Now they're saying it's link cloaking.
Cloaking. And I'm like, it's not cloaking because cloaking actually is a thing you can do.
Right.
And just so you guys know, we have never done that. We've always been totally straightforward with you all.
Yep.
And when we talk about links, the way this works is very basic. We have affiliates that are companies we work with, one of which is FMS, of course, because we're doing an FMS plane. We've done tons of FMS planes. One of which is Horizon Hobby. Of course, it's the biggest one for us because they're the biggest, company out there right now. And by the way, FMS makes planes for E-flite. Duh. If you weren't already aware, and I say the duh, I probably shouldn't say duh because some of you guys are new to the hobby, you don't know that yet. But anyway, we work with all the competitive brands, and yes, they are competitors too. Mm-hmm. i.e. 15th anniversary Viper, just to be clear. And here's the thing. We love all of them. We don't really care who makes the money. We want to help support them in making money, but our primary goal is not to make them money. Our primary goal is to bring to the world the best possible planes. And when I say best, I mean, we get the good and the bad. Mm-hmm. We get the next best and the best, and then you guys get to decide. That's our goal, okay? One of our goals is because we found out that at a certain point in this whole process, we're going to be able to bring value to you, our audience, if we can show you the difference between the good one and the next best one. And sometimes the price point's a difference. Now, we don't talk about price because they change all the time. We can't keep up with it.
Right.
And so anyway, getting back to the point, as we apply these decals, it's kind of a boring process, so we'll just talk about other stuff as we do it. That goes up here? What is that thing? I don't see that on. Oh, it's supposed to be this thing, right? No. It's back further. Oh, there's a gun on this side. Yeah, the gun's over here. So they just happen to show where this danger ejection seat goes. Why would they have it there? Oh, because there's another detail. So this goes back here, which is kind of weird, in front of the gun. Again, guys, if you're standing in front of a gun, generally a bad idea. I mean, a grounded F-16 is probably not going to shoot you unless you're at a time of war. But anyway, so we've been fighting with YouTube because we work with all these companies and we do it totally above board. We let you guys know what's going on. When you like a plane, we say, check out the link in the video description below. You check out the link by going through it. And it says right above it, it says these are affiliate links. And that means that we work with these companies. They either send us a plane or we have a relationship where they pay commissions to us or both, and usually both, okay? We've never been paid to make footage. I know there are some people that get paid to make footage. That's not what we do here.
Right.
We would like it if they would pay us, but that's not the arrangement that we have with anybody, right? Have we ever done that?
Nope.
I know there was one Chinese company that wanted to pay for footage, and I was like, yeah, well, if it sucks, we're still going to tell the truth.
And they ended up setting up an affiliate program.
Yeah, right, because they were like, oh, no, we need you to lie for us. We're like, we don't do that. Boy, that is weird looking.
Yes, it is.
It's like white. Why is it not? Isn't it usually red or like yellow? I don't know, whatever. It is what it is. So I guess getting back to the point as we continue this story, this deep dive into the Google underbelly of Google. So Google owns AdSense. AdSense is how we make ad revenue. That's the other stream of income that you end up with when you have a sizable YouTube channel. And AdSense is where you're monetized. So like if you're monetized, if you watch a video on YouTube and you aren't monetized, they still play ads. Those ads are theirs to play. And guess how much you get as a creator?
0.
Oh, that's right, 0, meaning you do all the work and they have a server somewhere in the world that hosts a video that they paid nothing for. And you produce free content for them, which someday they're gonna get sued and they'll have to pay for it. But anyway, it's not today, okay? Because there's a lot of other services out there that basically suck. You know, there's just, they don't have any following. And so, you know, other than possibly your Facebooks of the world and the other, what's the other ones? The Vimeo.
Yeah.
Which has like a really dinky following. Of course, there's some like hobby related channels and things that would not be channels so much as they would be different websites.
Right.
And YouTube's big thing is, you know, we don't want you to redirect traffic to somebody else, which is true at Facebook. It's true at Instagram. It's true at Twitter. It's true at all the main platforms for social media. Don't want you to direct traffic away.
Right.
And so it's not rocket science. Why would they not want you guys to just live on YouTube? You should just always live, breathe, and sleep YouTube. And I'm like, really? That's your expectation? That's what you want? It's impractical. It's stupid. So really, at the end of the day, you guys are the toy and they think they own you. And then also, they steal your information. They track where you go. They literally work out deals with companies like Ford to listen to you in your truck so they can advertise to you in targeted marketing. And if you ever read the actual acknowledgments when you sign up for the software, they're pretty much all doing it, okay? So it's very funny because they're in an antitrust suit right now with the US federal government and they're about ready to get their butts handed to them because they just kept buying up all these companies and bloating and bloating and bloating. It's called a monopoly, okay? Now, I'm not against big business doing good things for the world. I'm not against big businesses making big money. I don't care. It's none of my business as long as it doesn't hurt me. But when big businesses are like, hey, screw you, we need another 45 cents per video out of your performance. And I'm like, oh my goodness. They're basically taking one of the biggest ad revenue streams, not ad revenue streams. I need to step back. I'm trying to look at this wing.
Oh.
See this? Bigger one goes here. Smaller one goes there. Mm-hmm. How do we tell which one's which? Small, big, big. Big goes on the fuse, okay. Small goes on the wing. Yep. So when you're running a small business, in our case, it comes from ad revenue from YouTube because we are monetized, which means they at least split it with us, which by the way, the super thanks, they keep 30% of that, okay? And then also they have other things like memberships, which I think they keep 30 or 40% of that. It's insane. They are the greediest company to work with ever. Patreon over here is like 18%, and then they charge you to like take payments out, and it's just ridiculous, guys. And it's just to make it easy for you guys to support us, okay? I was like, I never want to start a begging site. That's what I called Patreon before we did it. And it's called a Patreon begging site because really it's where creators can beg their followers to support them. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there's a lot of people that work in lower revenue businesses. You know, there's just like not as much money if you're painting pictures or drawing or maybe making some small time music. Ooh, that did not release. And so I guess, again, this is not to bash anybody over the head except for Google. And Google is the mothership, Alphabet. Alphabet owns Google. Google owns all the rest of the holdings. YouTube is one, AdSense is one of them. And then they have about like 50 other big companies, okay? And yes, I own a lot of Google stock too. So I want them to win. Like, I mean, I've got retirement accounts with that stuff in it and you guys do too. I guarantee you do. Because they are the definition of a blue chip stock. They are how people retire. It's very frustrating. But then what happens is they come after guys like us that are just really, really small. We're like a nothing to them. Like all the ad revenue that they've created from advertising on our channel is probably like 1/100% of their revenue in a given 5-day period. You know, it's like nothing. So what they want to do is they want to stop people from taking any of this little tiny piece of their market share. And as you zoom out, it becomes like this. And then you have like bigger competitors, like the Casey Neistats of the world. And then you zoom way in and there's us, okay? And then you've got like the Sailors, which are also like this. And then you've got like, RC Sparks, which is like, like this. And then you've got like Casey Neistat that's like this. And you've got Mr. Beast that's like this. And unless you're one of those guys, you're not gonna really get the clout you need with Google, okay? So like I said earlier, if you wanna start a YouTube channel, just don't. It's a waste of time for most people. And they're hoping that you guys will waste your time so you can do that. This is not releasing.
No, it's not.
I don't understand why this one won't go. Wonder if I did something wrong. Oh, there it goes. I'm gonna let it sit for just a second longer. So as you look at this mothership of Alphabet, and then you look at Google, and Google has gotten kicked, they've been caught numerous times, censoring people that they don't politically agree with. We have been so careful not to get into politics or religion on this channel, namely for the purpose of reaching an audience that is going to be constituted of people that have different political viewpoints and different religious viewpoints. That is not our objective here on this channel necessarily. It is to share the love of a very predefined topic, which is aviation and RC. And these types of things don't necessarily they can help bridge the gap between people that have disagreements politically and religiously or whatever. And so that's always been part of the hallmark of one of the things that we believe in on this channel, is we want to reach the biggest audience that's going to be able to enjoy what we do. And there's nothing wrong with having people share their views, even if they're controversial. And we do it in a way we think that hopefully is well received by our audience. Our audience is a bunch of men that love radio-controlled airplanes. That's the vast majority of our audience. How do we know that? Because we have analytics, just like YouTube has. So when we have a link that is to buy the plane that we did a video about, we're not trying to sell some illicit, sex work or prescription drugs. These are things that they're worried about people selling, okay?
Right.
And so just by saying those words, by virtue of saying those words, I'm sure YouTube is gonna look at this video with extra scrutiny. And I hope they do. Because at the end of the day, when they take advantage of people like us, then it's really, they're taking advantage of their bread and butter. It's very dumb because there's way more of us than there are of the Casey Neistats.
Yeah.
Than there are of the Mr. Beasts. Those guys do a lot for for YouTube, for the platform, no doubt. But it's also a niche audience in a niche world. And what they do is here and gone. The whistling decals of the world, with millions of subscribers. We're not in that echelon. We're never going to probably ever get there, right?
Right.
So what we do is we do these radio control airplanes. We put decals on. We do long format video. We talk about different things that's going on in our lives and that surround our world of aviation that's very hyper specific in this. And then Google comes after us and says, your link is being blocked and taken off of thousands of videos because we did an appeal through a bot. And the bot found the problem. And even though the bot has literally hundreds of times acknowledged that there was a mistake and we will remedy it by turning the link back on. That has literally happened to us hundreds of times. Mm-hmm. We will get hundreds of emails overnight, randomly, and we got our list of links down there. When you go look at them, there's like maybe, 70 of them or 100 of them or whatever it is. It doesn't really matter. It's like glue, F-18, F-16, whatever it is. You look at that and you think, okay, well, if I click on that, then I'll be supporting Brian Phillips RC. Yes, you will. If you buy it, if you click on it and you look at it, it doesn't really do anything for us one way or the other. But it is an opportunity for a revenue stream for us. And it's not like you didn't watch the video because of it. You still gave them ad revenue. They still made money. They still line their pockets. But they're just concerned because you didn't watch 7 more videos.
Well, and we didn't make if you click on the link that says F-16, I'm pretty sure you think you're going to see an F-16.
An F-16.
You don't click on it. It doesn't go to a site to try and sell you a timeshare in Florida.
Yeah, right. That's the sort of thing that they're worried about. That's what cloaking is.
Right.
And so we have the Brian Phillips RC me domain, which we bought from Google.
Yes.
And when you buy a domain, then it's yours for a period of time. You rent it. And then they jack up the price when you find traction.
And when you click on a short link, because we try to put as many links as we can to make you guys able to find stuff.
Make it easy for you.
But when you click on the link, you end up at FMS's website or whoever is sending the plane.
Yeah.
And where you're buying it. We're not
We're not trying to trick anybody. It's very, very basic. It's always been that way. And to be honest with you, when we first started this whole project, this whole YouTube thing, I mean, we were trying to save memory on our phone. It's not like we did this to make money.
That's why how it started.
So at some point it turns into a situation where you end up having so much time in it that you have to make money because you literally can't like have a day job pretty much, which we're getting dang close to that. And it's not a bad thing. That's a great thing. But then you have somebody like that comes over here with an axe and just like hold still. Oh, sorry. Yeah, we didn't realize we were hurting you when we.
Right.
This completely arbitrary thing to them is huge to us as creators. It is literally.
It's huge to our family.
Oh yeah, it's probably 3/5 to 4/5 of what we earn in terms of payback for what we do on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And this is why people get so pissed at YouTube. So if you guys are new to YouTube and you don't understand these things, we're very transparent on this channel because we want to teach you guys about aviation and about RC and about our experience with it. It's not always just a generic thing. It's not always like, oh, airplanes have wings. No, there's that. But really a big part of what we do here is we are very transparent about our experience in these things.
Yeah.
And so if you guys are new, if you're a young person and you're like, I want to start a YouTube channel, well, you better really want it. You're going to have to want it a lot more than I did.
Or you're going to have to want it and not care if you don't make any money.
That's right. And we know some young guys that we have featured on this channel that are really hardworking, intelligent, better at it than we are. And they'll probably never make it because that's the way Google does it.
Right.
Is they will undermine it. And what's going to happen is the way that they advertise the recommendations, you know, like you're probably watching this video and like over here, there's like 14, I didn't mean to do that. There's like 14 or 15 videos over here and you can scroll down. Mm-hmm. Is that the right side of the, it's that side of the screen.
That side.
So those are going to help you understand what Google thinks you want to watch. And there's nothing wrong with them trying to track, on their own platform, what you'd like to see and then recommend that to you because they want to keep you on the platform as long as possible. Okay, great. But then why are they going to punish all of the influencers or whatever you want to call these people that do things in niche audiences? Like, if Whistle and Diesel is crashing a Ferrari in a cornfield and he's trying to reach people that would be potentially buying a Ferrari, then what difference does it make to them? He just spent $500,000 to make a video for them.
Right.
That's 15 minutes long.
Did
Who
nothing
cares?
for.
It's none of their business. All they did was post it. They hosted a network connection and they paid for some security infrastructure. I mean, give me a break. So it's very frustrating for us because we work our tails off and we do our end of the deal and then they just arbitrarily change the deal because they felt like it one day. And then you go back to them and you say, but we didn't actually break any of your policy points. And they're like, well, except you did.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but we just read them to you and you agreed we didn't do any of those things. Well, but it's permanent. It's
a policy.
It's a final
We're just
decision.
following the policy.
Yeah. Somebody has to enforce the policy. And I'm like, yeah, but you could change the policy to some like terribly evil policy tomorrow and it's perfectly fine, right? Yes. Well, it's not like we have a monopoly. Oh, yeah, except you do.
Yes.
So it's like at a certain point, it gets very frustrating. And guys, you can hear it in my voice. You can hear it in my mannerisms. This is a big deal for us. And it's very frustrating. That is not supposed to be at an angle. That's supposed to be square. How do I know? Because that's the way it shows it here. I think that's right. Mm-hmm. So guys, if you ever hear it coming across and we're like, buy it from the links in the video description below. Well, that only works if they exist. And you guys have been so supportive to us. Mm-hmm. And so when you hear our concern about Google and about, whether it's Patreon or one of these other companies that just is, their poop doesn't stink. We just want you to understand, like, I have one Patreon guy that just always having problems and he's in New Zealand and he's a super guy. And can I say his first name, you think?
I think he'll know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about. He really, 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 really wants me to film an XK520. Like we have tried desperately to get somebody to send it to us. For whatever reason, that VTOL just doesn't exist. And I don't know why we can't get it. But anyway, we have actually had it on order like 3 times and it just like never shows up. Which is so weird because we've done a bunch of planes. Well, anyway, I grabbed the wrong Cobra. Oh. So anyway, let's just say his name starts with S and ends with U, and it's not even spelled right. So anyway, you know who you are. But this poor guy is always getting hounded by Patreon, and I'm like, it's not even, he knows this too. It's like a couple bucks a month in support. It's not a big deal to us, and we just really appreciate his patronage and his support, and we communicate quite a bit on there. And so it's like, what do you do in a situation like that?
Right.
As a creator, it's like, I don't know what's wrong with your stupid system.
Right.
You know, it's
And
like the guy's
he's doing everything right.
Yeah, he's trying his best. And then they just keep hounding him about like not paying on time or something. Like, how did you not pay on time? It's like, I don't even care about it. It's $2. But anyway, these are the real challenges you'll face if you decide to do a YouTube channel. So if you want to do a YouTube channel and you're crazy enough, just remember, it's not all fun and games. I mean, there might be some fun and games. And the better you make the difficulties look like fun and games, the better your channel will perform. Okay, so this is supposed to go all the way on there. That's way bigger. So I think I'm gonna have to probably like, you suppose I notch it?
You might need to just to be able to get around that control horn there.
Like that?
Yeah.
So I guess hopefully this is well received, guys. We try not to kind of,
Wait.
What?
I thought you were gonna like notch that white part out. So
Crap,
you
did I
could-
put Alabama like way too low? I totally did.
No.
Yes, I did.
It's supposed to be right at the top of the fin.
No, it's not at the top of the fin. It's supposed to be up at the bottom of this.
Ew.
Crappers. Time to learn some more together, Brian Phillips RC fans.
But your mic is gonna die. They're both gonna die.
Well, we're going to keep going until it gets ready to die then, huh?
Okay.
Okay, if this ever happens to you, the trick of the day is, since there's no controls up here, I'm just going to get a little bit of water and just get this thing, hopefully it'll wet. I did actually move a couple of these the other day on the F7F when we built it, which was, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, right? Mm-hmm. Wasn't it?
So you're gonna
I'm going to have to cut it.
cut that one?
I'm going to have to. Yeah, it's just I'm going to have to cut it through the clear part, right?
I think so.
There is a red line somewhere on there. Okay, so anyway, guys, getting back to the point, I know I start stories, I stop stories, and sometimes I don't complete stories. If you're here and you're curious what's going on, that's really what's going on. And yes, it's to you guys, it probably seems like just quit bitching, for lack of better terms. You guys have it good here. And the truth is, you're right. But when you have it good and you build basically a model of what you want success to look like, and then you have big, huge goals that are ridiculous that people think you're nuts for having, and then you get so close to achieving them, and then some idiot at some corporation that doesn't know anything about your life or about your family or about how hard you've worked tries to take it away from you for basically no reason. It is, it's more than just a small sucker punch. It's the type of thing that causes people like me to like hire lots of lawyers. That's what happens. Because what happens is then the other 300 people that ended up in a similar circumstance that were singled out end up becoming part of a class. And then they take action against these conglomerates. And then what happens is, like, the FTC ends up on our side because they actually are breaking rules, federal laws. And they were getting away with it because everybody was being lined, pockets were being lined by the lobbyists. But then all the small guys were getting screwed. And then we end up with this circumstance where we've got to go hire attorneys to protect us. And guess what happens to any of the money that would have been made? Bye-bye, gone. Your lawyer, have it. Yeah. So it's been I don't want to say demoralizing, but it's been difficult to deal with. And it's taken hours and hours and hours. And what happens is we open our email and there's 400 emails. So if you've ever had that happen, then you'll know exactly what I'm dealing with. And it just takes the wind right out of your sails, guys. So anyway, if you guys are wondering
What I do in my free time.
Yeah, that's what free time looks like when you run a YouTube channel. And it's not free time. It's very expensive time. Yeah. And the problem is that at YouTube and at Google and at AdSense, they got all these kids sitting there, 20-year-old kids that got some bachelor's degree in women's studies that are sitting there. They got no clue what it's like to really work for a living. that have never picked up a screwdriver. They've never done a real job, and they're out there making 6 figures to start, and they just think it's the way it is for everybody.
Yeah.
And we're not hurting people in the real world. And granted, I know what it's like to make money, but I also know what it's like to get screwed. And it's very frustrating. So like, if you guys understand what I'm talking about, let me know in the comments below. I know some of you guys are gonna think this is a little bit out of character for you to go on such a deep dive about this stuff on YouTube. Yes, it is, because it's out of character for them to bend me over and do the deed, okay? Because that has not happened historically. There was a time when they had a monetization issue that almost everybody on the channel was having. Everybody on YouTube was having. That was when they had the yellow circles for non-monetized videos. And they would not monetize videos because there was wind happening. And they were like, that's unacceptable. And I'm like, you guys seriously hear yourselves? Like, I had a video where there was wind in the background and they said it was inappropriate. Can't be putting that in front of children. And I'm like, oh my goodness.
But they fixed that.
They fixed it.
Yep.
But it took millions of people.
Right.
Millions of people throwing a fit. Problem is when you get singled out by somebody like Google, it's a different situation. And we're concerned we're getting singled out. And what happens when you get singled out is there's no remedy. Yeah. You're shut down. So it's very scary. And we want you guys to understand that, like, you know, we're very transparent with you here on the channel. We usually don't talk about like income and stuff like that. There are channels that do, and I always think that's pretty cool. But they're usually like income generation channels, like people that talk about stocks and investments and stuff, which are really cool. But it's also, you make a lot more money in that echelon on YouTube because that type of audience, there's more advertising to sell, okay? So anyway, this is gonna be terrible to put down. Look at this, look at this thing. That is gonna be awkward. So if you guys have any experience on dealing with Google with regard to this type of problem, we would love to hear about you. If you guys have been on a channel that has been singled out and you found some level of success, hit us up. There is an About tab. The About tab is, just click on my face anywhere. It's gonna bring you to our home. You go over to the About tab. I think it's on would be your right. Click About, and then I think they have like a catch bot thing so they can make sure you're not just a machine. And then they will take you to our email. Just let us know, or if you're an attorney that's like, you know, screw those guys. I wanna take them all the way down to City Hall. I would love nothing more than that. Oh, yeah. I would love more for them to just straighten up.
Yeah, that would be easier.
That'd be so much easier. But yeah, that's really our real life, guys. Because we're not big on letting people ruin our dreams.
Oh, did you drop that little piece? Oh no, it's still on there.
No, I meant to drop the little piece. I just want to get that going. So guys, if you hear or you see something that seems a little bit flippant, like, you know, sending the middle finger to YouTube or to AdSense or to Google or whatever it is, we want you to understand that it's well earned. You know, we've also had a platform that we've been able to use for a few years here, almost 9 years. But let me tell you something. I am not going to let them get away that easy, because they've made a crap load of money by you watching our videos, by us buying equipment and filming and uploading and paying for internet service providers and doing all the different things that a creator does, editing, which we hardly do. At the end of the day, if there weren't creators, there would not be a YouTube, okay? There might be a few creators that were like paid creators. But we've done that before. It's called cable TV. We've done that before. It's ABC, NBC, CBS. I mean, mainstream media. You can find all this stuff right now. Look where it's going. Straight into the garbage can. You can barely watch an NFL game on TV anymore. Not that I would watch that. But anyway, I digress to a certain extent.
My mic is dead and yours is almost.
Mine is almost dead. So I think our aim should be to get this Cobra on here and then finish the stickers off decal, off camera. So anyway, guys, that's the real no BS what's going on in Brian Phillips RC world. Brian Phillips RC world is, you know, most people think it's happy-go-lucky. Everything is easy money, and nobody has to really work hard for anything. And I've always thought that was sort of a strange way of looking at it, but I think what happens is people see the culmination of success and they think, oh, that must have been easy. And I'm like, yeah, okay. I mean, you're certainly welcome to think that. But when pressed, I think most people understand, like, we've worked our butts off.
Yeah.
We have. And the other people that do this, by the way, the sailors, you know, we're pretty competitive with them. But the thing is, they've worked their butts off. You know, Pilot Ryan, he's worked his butt off. Who else am I going to mention? RC Geek, great guy. He's worked his butt off. You know, these are our peers, the peers that work with, you know, Horizon and stuff. And, you know, Rami RC was one of my first contacts on YouTube. I remember when we had one viral video and he gave us our first contact for our first affiliate, okay? And he has been instrumental in helping us to find some level of success. Okay, now he's killing us. He's like 750 or 100,000, I mean, 1 million subscribers. He's out in Germany. Well, he was in Saudi Arabia or UAE. He was in UAE when he started. Somewhere like that. Anyway, all I know is it's so much easier said than done, folks. And that's no BS. That's the truth. Mm-hmm. And same with flying, same with building these models, same with putting on wet decals, same with a lot of different aspects of life, same with parenting, same with carrying a good job. You know, we want to encourage people to do positive things with their life, but really it's kind of like up to you. We're not your mom, we're not your dad. We care about you, we want you to find success, but they probably care a lot more about you. And if you guys want to help support us, as long as the links exist, that's how you can do it right now, is buy stuff from the links or go to brianphillipsrc.com. We own the domain, well, at least for a period of time. And then when you go there, that's our website. You can follow links there all day long. They can't block you, but generically speaking, people don't go there. They want a one-click access. Right. One click makes a difference. And you don't believe me? Just ask Amazon about that.
Yep.
They patented that.
That's why we have all of the links in the description.
Yep, because it's got to be easy. Otherwise, it's perceived as, you know, like I'm just going to go do something else with my 5 minutes, like eat an apple or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with that, by the way. We're not trying to poke fun of anybody. It's just the truth is that's the way people spend money online these days. And Google is so freaking greedy, they can't even let us have it. That little teeny pittance. We're talking percentage basis points, guys. It's not like hundreds of dollars every time you buy a plane. We have to have hundreds of people buying planes, and then there's a few bucks for us. Okay, you see this? So anyway, inside baseball, we do it once in a while on Brian Phillips RC. We don't want you to think this is a normal thing. We sure hope it's short-lived. We sure hope that somebody gets a hold of this video and they fire back an email and they say, hey, we're really sorry. Let us help you fix the problem. And then we don't have to spend 10 or 15 hours every time we see an email come through with 400 links on it that had been shut down. Because that's what really happens. Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. So continuing, I've just cut around where this control horn would go. And I'm hoping that wind is blowing through the window and across our kitchen. Oh yeah, look at that. Maybe I'll get lucky. This is going to be a little trickier than if it was just a regular decal, because I'm going to have to cut that again too to clear that moving part there. But honestly, I think it might work. Yeah. It's going to look okay. Yeah. And a lot less of these like mold release bumps.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah, there's less of them on here because we don't have simulated rivets like we did on the F7F. And so that's going to help us to make this an easier battle. Now, also, guys, Unbox Build Radio setup. Usually the decals are not such a huge part of the assembly, but I think at this point, when we get this tail on here from this Cobra, we will give you the next shot will be decals applied and ready to continue and pick up the build only because of the equipment issues, meaning we're running out of batteries on our mics. And believe it or not, a few years ago, we didn't use mics because we didn't think it was necessary. But to be honest with you, it's been a huge improvement in the performance of the channel. It sounds better, it works better. We finally got these Rode wireless mics too, and I made this super dorky pocket protector. Mm-hmm. That's how nerdy I am. And that goes in here, and then you can hear my words, and then you can hear the camera crew.
Yep, when mine works.
But hers shut off, so no more snide remarks. So guys, we really appreciate you being here with us, and thanks for watching. There is gonna be more coming. Let's get this tail on. So don't think this video is gonna end. Don't ever, ever, ever click away.
It's never gonna end.
It's never going to end. Make more toilet wine. Okay, there it is. So now that's applied, and all we need to do is just let it set up. It's gonna look amazing. It's gonna be super cool. and then we're gonna come back and finish the build. So guys, thanks so much for watching. Thanks for giving us your ear. This is a big deal. It doesn't seem like a big deal, but kind of like when, you know, certain affiliates sales drop by 75% overnight, it really hurts us. But at the same time, we understand it's about you and it's about your RC experience. And you probably don't care about all that stuff. And we totally get it if that's true. But if you really want to help support us financially, we have Patreon, we have PayPal. Remember, we're friends and family. Otherwise, there's a bunch of fees involved for us, okay? And we are friends. We're friends. Or family. You might actually be family. I don't know, but we're friends for sure. It's not like you're gonna return the transaction. You can't return, you know, a video that we did, right? Got it? Then we also have Super Thanks, where you can line the pockets of YouTube. And we have YouTube members, which I know if that breaks your heart, believe me, we're okay with it. It's just, they're gonna take what they're gonna take. But between you and me,